last night. They traded Jaylen Brown, and they did it to a team they're going to see a lot of. Brown, an NBA Finals MVP and a second-team All-NBA player, was sent to Philadelphia in exchange for 36-year-old Paul George, 2 first-round draft picks and 2 second-round picks. George has 1 year left on his contract and a player option. Also, the Celtics have signed Knicks free agent big man Mitchell Robinson to a 3-year, $47.4 million contract and signed 39-year-old free agent guard Mike Conley. Former Celtic Nikola Vucevic has re-signed with Orlando. NHL free agency began yesterday. The Bruins made a pair of trades with the New York Rangers. First, they sent backup goaltender Jonas Korpisalo for a 4th-round draft pick and a minor league forward. And then they shipped out a 2nd-round pick and a conditional 3rd for defenseman Will Borgen. Also, the team has signed Connor Clifton to a 2-year contract and brought back Jordan Harris on a 1-year deal. Bruins free agent Victor Arvidsson has signed a 2-year contract with Detroit. At the World Cup, the U.S. scored their second-ever knockout round win, 2-0 over Bosnia-Herzegovina last night in Santa Clara, California. Folarin Balogun and Malik Tillman both had goals, but Balogun was handed a red card in the second half. He will not be able to play in the round of 16 game for the U.S., which is Monday night in Seattle against Belgium. They rallied for a 3-2 overtime win over Senegal yesterday, and England survived DR Congo 2-1. And the Red Sox lost to the Washington Nationals yesterday 10-2. They visit the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim tonight. Connolly Early placed on the injured list yesterday with left elbow inflammation. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Don't put off losing weight this summer. Reach your goal during the easiest season for weight loss. Awaken 180, the official weight loss program of summer. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
The Sports Hub. 3 legendary franchises on one legendary radio station. It's the Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
Yes, I finally shaved my nuts.
and Hardy
Who, me?
Just hanging around.
on 98.5.
Anchorman, heard about you.
Yeah.
We're Costco guys. Of course we go shopping while eating a chicken bake.
That's gross.
Not a great cook, but I do cook.
When I asked him about the sides,
Kick them in the balls.
I don't care about it, but it's not good behavior.
Blaze Bailey is omitted.
Toucher and Hardy
We're the best friends it can be, my buddy and me.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Excuse me. I was just dining on fruit.
Look at you. Look at you. All healthy and stuff.
Getting my, I'm a little worried about my sugar levels. You know, I don't like to pound down that much sugar this early in the morning, but, you got to do what you got to do. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. I don't know if I gave the number, but 617-779-0985. Obviously, we'll talk a lot about Jaylen Brown today, but it is the day before we have tomorrow off because tomorrow is a company holiday. And today, is it going to be a day where you got to beat the heat?
Apparently beat the traffic, too, as a lot of people I saw driving 110 miles an hour with their motorbikes and camping gear up 128 this morning. I'm like, oh, really?
95.
Really getting a jump start and trying to kill yourself at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's good.
My son went to the Cape yesterday, and he sat in one place for an hour. Right before the bridge, for literally an hour.
Yep.
Like legitimately an hour. That's insane.
That traffic circle on the other side doesn't do anybody any favors.
That's where he was.
Yep.
And it's insane.
Yep.
Why is it that inefficient to get to the Cape?
I can't help you with that. I don't know.
It's just such an odd thing that they would. And didn't they just? Is that a new bridge, or have they not opened the new bridge yet?
They haven't even started the new bridge, have they?
Okay.
I don't know. I really have no clue. I know there was a plan to build a new bridge, but It doesn't matter how new the bridge is or if they expand it by a lane in either direction. As long as that massive rotary is there, the problems will remain. There'll just be more cars waiting.
It's just it almost seems like something that's designed to discourage people from going there. Because anything that you urban plan where you, or I don't know if it's called urban planning or whatever, when you plan out traffic patterns and you just put something that quite often has an hour, where like literally an hour where he probably went a quarter mile, if even that. So I mean, he called me and then I'm talking to him and you run out of things to talk about. He kept referring to the people on the Cape as hippies, and I'm like, what do you keep saying hippies for? He doesn't know what to be upset about. He's learning about not liking hippies, but he doesn't quite know what to be upset about yet. You know, I like his instincts, but it's okay. Tim can explain the Cape traffic. Tim, go ahead.
Freddie, no pockets. It's all GPS. It's rerouting people off of the main roads to residential roads. I live a mile from the Sagamore Bridge on the mainland side. My chiropractor's a half mile from my house. It took me 35 minutes to get home from it on residential roads. And it's just all GPSs that take people from Route 3. Route 3 is backed up, so it puts them on 3A. 3A is backed up, so then now it's created the quagmire that they're off of the highway, so GPS has to fix it. So as you go down one residential road, I'm stuck in traffic watching GPS pull 8 cars behind me to turn left down another residential road going further from the bridge. So now you've got all the main point of entries going back to the highway, which people were already on, which is all residential roads with stop signs or inadequate stoplights, that it's now going maybe one car every intersection through there.
Oh, boy. And, yeah, his GPS apparently was telling him that it wasn't even that bad. So that's, yeah, and I blame Waze. That seems like a big Waze problem. Waze is, again, I won't use it. Everyone swears by it. I won't use it. And I told you, I was out in New Hampshire, you know, whatever, North Conway, where we once had a very powerful affiliate. And, I mean, you should have seen.
Really? Is it part of the network?
It was part of our big network of Bangor and North Conway.
We do a public appearance up there?
No, only Providence or Portland for free.
Okay.
And they were lovely. But they didn't want us anymore. And then once we lost them, it was pretty much all of it.
House of cards. They say once you lose Portland, it's all just conversation.
Well, that was, you know, probably $20 of the 75 that I got every month. So, you know, and it was worth having it lorded over me too. So, boy, that was stupid. That just was like, and popping champagne and stuff. I'm like, eh. All right. So anyway, and Waze took me through all those neighborhoods in New Hampshire. And when I say neighborhoods, I mean residential neighborhoods, not neighborhoods where there's like businesses, like people's houses. Just going through for miles and miles and miles of just driving through people's like neighborhoods with like kids playing in the front yards.
I know what you're talking about. I did the same thing when my kids were that age. You go up to Santa's Village and to do the roller coaster and all that stuff, and then
that's that storyline.
Yes. But the point is, you go to both of those places and you come back down, and there's no. It takes you off the main road, and all of a sudden you're in a place called Meredith, New Hampshire, and you know, this is very nice, but nowhere near civilization. So it takes you forever.
And then you go, why didn't you turn off Waze and, you know, get back on the freeway? And it's like, I don't know how to get back on the freeway.
You need Waze to go find the freeway.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like, how the hell am I supposed to know how to get back on the freeway? Like, I'm way out the freeway at this point.
I know.
Like 5 miles off the freeway. I don't know how to get back there.
You don't have an old school compass on your dashboard?
The compass?
A big sundial you stick out the window.
In Detroit, I used a compass all the time. because if you went west, you were okay.
Well, and again, when everything's laid out in a grid system, you just know, I'm too far north, I'm too far west, and this was actually useful.
Yeah, it was interesting in Detroit. I did put a compass in my car because it was before GPS, and I would just put a compass in my car, and I would go, as long as I'm going west, I'm less likely to die every 50 yards I go. Every 50 yards west from the city is it's progressively less likely to die. If I ever got lost, that was my tactic, is go west, young man. But yeah, I was just completely enslaved to it, like that Office where they ended up driving into the lake. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, how you doing? I do have a little information on that bridge on the Route 3 side. Anyways, I saw them driving the pylons to, I think, start the new bridge. And as far as the other bridges, the Sagamore, there was, I think, a pool of water when it rains and stuff. I think it gets pulled on the other side of the bridge by the rotary. And I think with those bridges, they're going to create those butterfly exits and get rid of that rotary. So I think that's the plan.
Well, that's
but
not.
They have started.
It has started.
But they have started.
All right.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
What about the beautiful decorative hedge, that says Cape Cod?
Oh, we don't want to lose that.
No.
I haven't been to the Cape in the summer in 18 years, maybe more. Since I've lived here, I don't think I've been there. I dated a girl that lived on the Cape, but that was during the winter. So I would go down to Falmouth, which was actually pretty fun because it was all like locals. And so it was actually kind of fun. I actually really enjoyed that. But I haven't been to the Cape in the summer in forever.
Cape is really underrated.
I think that's the first time in the year I've ever said I dated a girl. Well, there you go.
Uh-oh.
I used to be afraid.
Here come the phone calls. They all come.
Like, way to project yourself as gay all these years. Anyway, so I dated a girl.
Brag,
that was,
dude.
Yeah, right. 3 years ago, I dated a girl on the Cape. Now that is my version of Niagara Falls. I mean, this actually didn't happen. I'm making it up. No, but I like that. But I haven't been down there. Like I went to Nantucket one time, and that was before I lived here. I told you my dad's friend's dad or something died in a Northwest plane crash, and so there was a lawsuit from the people. It was like error or like a mechanical issue, and he got all this money. The son, who was old, got all this money.
Is it that huge one in like 87? One where like 250 people died?
Probably, and he probably got paid off in like the 2000s. Like it probably took that long, like for it all to go down. If it wasn't that, it was a Northwest plane crash, and that's not an airline anymore. So I feel free even speculating that. And they got a place in Nantucket for the summer one time, and they had us come down for a little bit of that. It was like huge, and they had us come down for a little bit of that. And I remember going, okay, whatever. But I just remember that trip because they traded Nomar. While we were in Boston. We were in Boston for one night, and they traded Nomar.
Yeah.
And I remember going, I can't believe how much people care about this. Like, it was every news station the entire time I was in Boston was covering that Nomar trade. Nonstop.
Yep.
Like, live coverage of it.
That was a weekend, too.
And I understood, like, it's a big deal, but I was like, whoa, like, one baseball player who's not even that great.
Well, we will get in the weeds on it, but yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, but I mean, it's not like he was Larry Bird in his prime or something like that, or Jaylen Brown.
Nice way to bring that back.
But it's not like Jaylen Brown was on the trade was on the news for 24 hours of nonstop, like, breaking into coverage.
The coverage of the Red Sox and the obsession with the Red Sox was so much so that when I moved here, like a couple of years before you did, Fred, or a year and a half, whatever it was, I remember being in my, the corporate housing downtown.
Sure.
And this was probably right after the Patriots had won the AFC Championship game.
This is 01?
No. This is January 05.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
They're getting ready to go back to the Super Bowl
For the 3rd and 4.
Yeah, and I'm down there in the Oakwood, the very Spartan accommodations and watching TV, nothing else to do. Marcy hadn't moved out here yet. I'm like living by myself downtown. I turn on like, all right, just let me watch local sports. And it was a Sunday night, and there was a Red Sox show on.
Mm-hmm.
Like after the Patriots had played, it's like, no, this is our Sunday night Red Sox show. We're going to talk hot stove, and we're going to talk about what's coming up for the pitchers and catchers reporting a month from now. I'm like, the Patriots they just won a playoff game.
Yep.
They're going to the Super Bowl again, or they're on their way.
That was
and they were talking
well,
Red Sox on a Sunday night in January.
What you're talking about was 2 months after the Red Sox had won their first World Series in 86 years. So
Yes.
I get that. That faded real quick, especially after they lost in the playoffs in 05, and then they won the championship again in 07. After 07, it all changed.
Yeah,
Everything
we were
changed.
here. Yeah, we were here for that. I was here in 07. So,
but I can only imagine what it was like in the with being here during the Nomar trade. Just have that like everything just stops.
Yep.
Like, nope, that's all that we're talking about right now.
yeah, there was nothing like that in Detroit. Like nothing. Orlando, you know what? Orlando, when the Magic were in the finals, was sort of like that. That there was like that mayhem where everything was all about that. It's almost like small market thing.
I'll tell you the closest thing was the Pistons and finally getting past the Celtics and finally emerging like late 80s.
Yep.
Like the Bad Boys Pistons.
88.
Yeah, took over.
See, I think the 84 Tigers.
And the 84 Tigers is another good example. But when I think when you're baseball and there's nothing else going on, you have, a bit of a leg up.
Yeah. But I'll hand it to Boston, that Nomar thing. I had never seen anything like it in my life.
I was on the air with Greg Dickerson at EEI when the trade happened. And we were on the air for 5 hours, 5 phone lines, all full the entire time. It was madness. We had to have 2 or 3 writers on, from wherever they were. The Red Sox are on the road, so wherever they were. And that lasted forever. That lasted weeks, months. And again, this is 04 now. They hadn't won a championship yet. So, I mean, we're in the summer of 04, and they had traded Nomar, who was... I mean, I can't describe to you how big Nomar was in the years leading up to that. Guy hit 370 as a leadoff hitter. He was everything. He was supposed to be better than Jeter and A-Rod. Remember that?
Yes, I know. I'm aware of like how good he was supposed to be. It's just
there's that steroid picture of him shirtless on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, I big baseball fan. I remember all of that stuff, but it's just again, it's not even the quality of the player, which I would argue, he's not Tom Brady or Larry Bird or something like that. I mean, but yeah, that was an interesting time. But anyway, that just goes back to the Cape. I don't know what the hell was going on there, and I don't know why it's so terrible to get down there. But
my daughter was telling me last night that she's going to the beach today. I said, "Oh, are you?" And I don't say anything anymore because they don't want to hear it.
Right.
I'm like, oh, when you gals leaving? I don't know, like 9 or 10.
Oh, perfect.
Are you? You're gonna go to the beach at around 9 or 10 o'clock.
Please tell me they're going south. Please tell me it's a beach south of you.
Well,
so they sit in Route 3 traffic all the way down.
Yeah, I mean they're not going to. They're not going due west over to Quincy. Yeah, they have to go south a little, or due east over to Quincy. Yes, they have to go a little bit south, and I'm just okay. Have fun.
Are they going to Revere Beach? Perhaps they can see the guy from Machine.
No, they're not. Yeah. They're not going to the North Shore. No, they're heading east and south, and all right. Yeah,
they could perhaps they could see the guy from Machine, and they could possibly, your daughter could meet her new husband on Revere Beach.
Yeah.
Or
Fingers crossed.
her husband. Dan Roach says, I was live in Minnesota when Nomar was traded in. Hardy, that was my Sunday night Red Sox show. Thanks for watching.
Wow. Hey. There you go.
I bet it was. Yeah. I was
Like,
probably
even
watching
Maz
Rocky.
stopped doing the baseball hour last night. Like, he stopped talking about the baseball hour.
Yeah.
During it.
He was just as squeaky and just as angry, just about something else.
I would assume
Maz was good last night.
Maz was
Yeah,
really
that
good last
night. Yeah. I would assume, Maz is always really good. But I would assume, well, I know for a fact Maz doesn't want to do that show at all. And I can only imagine doing the baseball hour at this point is just like torture. Because, I mean, he doesn't want to talk about it any more than anyone else wants to hear about it. It's just, you got to, even if you're the biggest Red Sox fan in the world, I mean, I've rooted for the Cardinals my whole life. I mean, when the Cardinals are really bad, I don't care. Like, you're bad. It's apathetic. Apathy. I mean, it's such a long season. You can't stay pissed for that long. You can only get pissed for little fits and starts. You can't sustain pissed for, what do you think? They were out of it with I don't know,
end of
100
April.
and 100 and like they're probably with like 100 games left. You could figure they were probably out of it.
Well, I'm not split hairs. Probably more than that, but anyway,
Whatever.
yes,
I'm
yeah.
just giving the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I don't want to talk about this. Yeah, probably more than that. Probably like 120 games, 110 games left. But I know he doesn't want to talk about it, so he's probably pretty happy that trade happened. All right, we can get. I know the reason that I don't feel obligated to start the show with the Jaylen Brown stuff is that it happened, yesterday evening. When the Giannis thing happened, that was overnight. So I have a feeling I know everyone already knows about the Brown thing, and they've probably heard a lot of analysis of it. We'll try to bring you some different angles on it, including I'm going to burden John with explaining the analytics one because I started reading it and I'm like, I don't care. So, I mean, I care enough to want to talk about it, but I don't care enough to try to. I read it. I don't want to process it. And I'm just going to sound stupid if I read it.
I think it'll make everyone turn the radio off if we really dive deep into it. We can summarize it.
I just think it's an
probably better.
interesting notion that analytically he's not considered very good or as good as he would seem on paper.
John and I read it, so you don't have to.
I read it.
The collective you. I mean, the audience. Yeah, we read it, so you won't have to.
And I'll tell you, we said on the air, no one wanted Brown. No, not really anyone wanted Brown. It's pretty crazy.
It's shocking to me.
Because there's no way they're doing that trade. If Portland wanted them, if all these teams that were supposed to be interested.
That's the best you could do. That obviously, you don't trade him to a team you're going to see 4 times a year if that wasn't the best you could do.
And the interesting thing about it is that there's a lot more to learn about this because there's no way this happened in a vacuum. Like a lot of stuff must be going on that hasn't come out yet. I wonder if Forsberg feels dumb after he went on here and grandstanded for half an hour about how they were all going to sit down and have a nice chat and get it all over with.
You can cancel that reservation at Toscano's. No longer needed.
Yeah, I thought about that. I'm like, I got to get that out of my head. That tweet, it's bugging me too much.
Gonna have to find a different function room.
And I was under
Paul George
and I was like, if I get an email like ridiculing me or saying how negative I am for that tweet, I have a lengthy response for the person. It's like, I'm right. Never been more sure of myself in my life. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Night.
Oh, hi. Hello. We are Toucher and Hardy. What happened? God, stop. I'm trying to talk. You're humming like Sling Blade over there. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happens. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. Hardy.
Now you made me want to watch Sling Blade. Maybe I'll do that over the weekend. That's a good napping movie, too. Very quiet. Just
That's a good point.
very slow paced.
The ASMR of the murder.
It really is. Let's talk some soccer. As last night, the U.S. was taking on Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Well done.
Thank you, John.
Very smooth.
Thank you, John. Scoreless until getting close to the end of the first half.
Ream, only man there, able to steer it to Adams, flicks it along Tillman. He's got Balogun making a run off him. Can he get around to that ball? Took a deflection. Balogun scores. Flo Balogun, first to react to the deflection. He'll do the LeBron celebration. It's 1-0 U.S.
Bosnia were warned. Do not give Flo Balogun another chance.
Yeah, that was after he had a goal disallowed on an offside.
Yeah, I guess it was
Kiss my grits, you know?
not Flo, it's Full.
Fullerin.
Yeah, Flo. Kiss my grits.
All right, Flo Balogun, or Balogun there
Thank you.
in the 45th minute makes it 1-0. And as you said, there was a goal that was disallowed. Not all good news for Flo last night, as in the second half.
But Mark Clattenburg, our referee Rafael Klaus, is now looking at it in slow motion. What is he going to see?
Yeah, this is not consistent what I've seen for the rest of the tournament. When this type of challenge comes, it's more of a step in action. And when it's step in action, it lacks force and intensity. But the problem you've then got is as Balogun puts his foot down, he catches the foot of the Bosnia and Herzegovina player. And that's what then creates that movement down. And it means his ankle twist. And
all right, he got a red card. He
spiked. He did. He spiked the guy, turned his ankle over. I get it, but I mean, there was no intent.
There was no. It was not malicious.
You don't know
It
that.
just. I mean,
You looked at the. We had plenty of time to view the replay.
Yeah.
While they checked the VAR, there was no intent.
You don't know that.
there was a very similar.
Educated guess.
Very similar play in one of the first matches of this World Cup,
Yeah,
and, there
Messi.
and it did not result in a red card. So Flo had to exit the game in the 64th minute, and he will miss the next match.
Correct.
As a result, but it did not matter for the U.S. last night, as they were already up 1-0. And then an insurance goal in the 82nd minute.
Tillman and Robinson stayed over it. Tillman ran into Adams. 9 minutes plus stoppage time to go.
So this run-up is telling me more power.
Look at how Vassel's giving up the entire right side of his goal. Tillman! It's in! Mike Tillman! 2-0 United States!
That was on the direct kick there, John?
Yeah. Gave up the right side of his goal. Guess where the ball went?
Yeah, right side.
Right side.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
U.S. wins 2-0.
Yep.
They advance.
I actually watched some of the England game because they were down 1, and I was rooting for the African team,
DR Congo.
Yeah, I thought that would have been nice because the announcers were talking about the African team like they were children. I thought it was a little disparaging. They were like, boy, that goaltender is going to remember this game for the rest of his life. And they were like,
I was watching when they said that. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, man. Like these are like adults, like playing in the World Cup, and this is past the qualifying, or the pool play. Like this is they've won. They've made it here. The guys, relax on this. But the guy that scored the 2 goals looks exactly like a soccer player.
Kane.
Harry Kane.
Harry
both
Kane.
goals, yeah.
He's their captain. He's their best player.
No, I ascertained that from the
from the
coverage yesterday, John. But And that also that he has the most World Cup goals in history, I believe, or Pele, more international play, whatever it is.
Yes.
He beat Pele for something, so I assume he's good. But he's the most soccer-playing looking guy I've ever seen in my entire life.
I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
he's got the hair. He's got the everything about him. He's not a big guy.
Watching England play is fascinating because, as I've said multiple times, this is a team that has choked on the biggest stage consistently over the years.
The English people
boy.
that are following it. Yeah, they're. I heard someone talk about it today, and they were talking about today to the next England game. They're like, "Doesn't matter, England's trash," and it was an English guy. He's like, "It doesn't matter, English trash anyway. Screw him."
Yep. No,
from Liverpool.
It would have been a very England thing to lose yesterday.
It would have been the most English thing ever.
Oh, Cold Cuts McCartney, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm very negative. Negative McCartney.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But they won yesterday.
It doesn't matter. They're all going to die. We're all going to die.
Negative Cold Cuts McCartney.
Nihilistic Cold Cuts McCartney. What's it matter anyway?
What type of sandwich might lift your spirits?
Oh, well, now it's a cornucopia. I could have anything. You know, I could have fried green tomato if I wanted to get crazy. I could have a BLT if I wanted to really change it up. All right, very good. So the United States, they have won,
Yes,
indeed.
Correct. Did the Red Sox win? Got Peyton Tolley hurling last night. First inning against the Nationals.
Red Sox bring the infield in as Chaparro awaits an 0-1. Hit well to left. This ball is rocked. Way up and over the monster.
Monster.
See what he did there?
Chaparro, his first big league homer this season.
The monster.
It's 2-0 Nats early here at Fenway Park.
Okay.
I listened
Monster.
I listened to the Nationals broadcast of that as I waited for my daughter to get out of driver's ed. It took her half an hour after she had texted me urgently to get there. I sat in the parking lot, and the Washington announcers were like just saying, "Stop challenging things. Just let everyone go home.
Yeah. But
Stop challenging."
It was only 2-0 after the first, and Sox hanging in there. Fourth inning. Oh, by the way, is Tolley gone at this point? I think
He pitched. He lasted 4 hitters into the fourth inning.
Oh, okay.
So 3+ is the way you say that. So he had part of this.
This one on him?
Sox nothing. First pitch to Nasim Nunez, blasted high, deep to left field. Gone, goodbye.
Yeah.
Of a car rental billboard above the Green Monster. Bang!
You can't say what it
goes
is.
Nasim Nunez with his first home run of the year.
Someone didn't get a Camry when they went in. If the car, they're just saying car rental. They didn't. Someone's not cruising around with the world's least decked out Camry that has essentially a golf cart engine in it. I floored it with my daughter in the car just to see what it would do, and she said, "Oh wow, we're going 25." Literally floored it for probably 10 seconds, and I got it up to around 30.
Huh. That thing wouldn't pull a greasy string out of a cat's
And
ass.
I was like redlining it. It was just like, "Vah!" And I'm like, okay, this is what I drive a 4,000-ton Bronco, and it accelerates faster than this. Boo.
Any word on the boy's car being returned?
Yeah, today.
Oh,
there you go.
All right.
So I get to drive. He's on the Cape, so I get to drive his car around now for a couple days.
Anyway, the Red Sox would go on to lose that one last night in a squeaker 10-2.
Things are back to normal, you know? It's like last week it was a mirage. This is the team that we've all come to know and
everyone
love.
got a little out of hand yesterday when they were winning. When they, because the Yankees have been on fire too. They can't even beat the Tigers. The Yankees got to be a little frustrated.
6 losses in a row.
Yeah, and you played the Red Sox and the Tigers, these are very bad teams, yet here we are. So, yes, the Red Sox, I think, you just give it a couple more weeks. I mean, the All-Star breaks next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, get through this road trip. They only have to play in 3 time zones and 3 different series. So
yeah, we won't see them for a few weeks.
That's unfortunate.
They're gone for a good long time.
Yeah, if you went to that game yesterday and you had good seats, I would imagine you were pissed not because of the score, but because of you couldn't sit in that sun for too long.
Yeah. In certain areas of that ballpark, you fry.
Yeah,
That's
I guess
very true.
that people were leaving their good seats and going underneath anything to get out of the sun.
Yeah, bleachers, obviously, there's no help anywhere. But if you're sitting along the third base line before the sun goes over the top, you're in direct sunlight for 2 or 3 hours. It's bad.
I would say that either side. I think anything exposed to the elements is pretty bad at that point. I'm not really concerned about the position of the sun.
We're going to focus our attention on Jaylen Brown. Do you want to dig down at all on the Bruins and the day they had yesterday?
Kind of nice. They got themselves a top 4 defenseman.
All right, we'll do a little bit of that, but the rest of the morning is going to be devoted to the Jaylen Brown trade to the Sixers for Paul George and the picks. So we'll be doing that as we continue.
All right, here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headline.
You've been aggravated since we turned the mics on.
I don't know what it is. I don't have time to think about that right now.
Toucher and Hardy.
It's ridiculous.
The Sports Hub.
We are Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, there was some Bruins news before we get to all the Jaylen Brown stuff.
Indeed. Don Sweeney at work in the club's first day of the 2026 free agency. Let's see. Where do we start here? I guess
2 trades with the Rangers.
Yeah. All right. We're down a goaltender at this point.
Jonas Korpisalo goes to the Rangers for a 4th-round draft pick and a minor league forward who had 3 goals in 51 games last year.
Which seems to make sense. The way Swayman is playing. I get this.
Well, they also have a kid that they want to call up from the AHL.
Michael DiPietro, yes. Yeah. We got rumors last year that it was time. He was going to go somewhere. They're going to give him his shot.
Right, and they get to unload a $3 million deal and bring up a kid. So this is all good.
And then the second trade was the more interesting of the two. You sent a 2nd-round pick and a conditional 3rd to the Rangers for William Borgen, who's making $4.1 million a year for the next 3 years, and he projects to be, he's a right-shot defenseman, and he projects to be in your top 4.
Yeah.
Last year he played about 18 minutes a game for the Rangers. By all accounts, and I can't pretend to know, I've never watched him, but everything I read tells me he's a stay-at-home defenseman, right-shot D, he fits what you need, and he will be solid, if not spectacular, for you.
I was going to say a solid second-pairing defense.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what he projects to be. By all accounts, the Bruins needed a right-shot D, so there's your guy. And he's not a scoring threat, but he will help.
Don Sweeney seemed happy about things.
We look at it like as a successful day for the Boston Bruins over the last little bit. We addressed some areas that we wanted to attack, and today was more focused on the back end. But we feel good about the depth of our hockey club now, and some of the conversations obviously they'll extend beyond today, and you just never know what might surface between now and throughout the year. But we did address the areas that we felt we needed to, and we need to continue to do.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, relax on these inhales. My goodness.
But by all accounts, the Bruins now have some decent organizational depth. They got guys who probably won't get on the ice that have NHL experience, like Yoki Haru, for example. They have some pieces here where you can either deal with them, or now if someone gets hurt, you have someone to step in that knows what he's doing.
They lost Arvidsson, which isn't a big surprise to Detroit, but they're going to miss him. He was good last year. He's a very active guy, hard-nosed guy, but he's gone. And then they brought back Connor Clifton. So, and then a guy who's a two-way guy, the defenseman they brought up,
Jordan Harris.
They did not tender him, and then they tendered him, and somehow that got on the news. Like when they were going through moves, that was a move.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually spotlighted a little bit, and I said, "Who cares?"
Yeah, yeah.
I was more interested.
Unless you're him,
I was more interested in the Maple Leafs signing Sergei Bobrovsky to a 3-year deal. $21 million seems like a good value for Bobrovsky.
That's a pay cut. I think Bobrovsky made like $10 million for Florida, if I remember right.
According to the rankings I saw, he was the number 1 free agent available. So the Maple Leafs going in on someone.
I didn't read any analysis of it or anything, but I'm like, $7 million AAV for Bobrovsky? Like, that seems like a really good deal for Toronto.
Yeah, but he's going to Toronto, which means he automatically gets worse. So,
John,
we'll see.
John,
I don't know what kind of history of the organization you've seen, but
the one that fails miserably in the playoffs, that one?
Yeah.
All right. But the big news yesterday, and we really can't pretend we're not going to discuss this for the rest of the day, is the news that broke in that the Boston Celtics, after weeks of apparently trying to move Jaylen Brown, first for Giannis, and then talking to everybody in the league about what would you like to give up in terms of draft picks? What would you like to give us for Jaylen Brown? Because we're not going to have Jaylen Brown here anymore. And like, oh, no, absolutely. We're going to sit down. We're going to figure this out. No, Jaylen Brown is, in fact, gone. Traded to the Philadelphia 76ers for Paul George, 2 first-round picks, a couple of second-round picks. Chris Forsberg, who was on with us yesterday talking about different scenarios, doesn't understand.
I've been doing this a long time now, and very rarely, maybe the Kyrie Irving trade, there are very few that just kind of knock me on my backside, and this is one of them. You know, I like to give the Celtics front office the benefit of the doubt, and I'll be very interested to hear their explanation for this trade. I'm very curious if there's anything else lingering. But if this is the trade package for Jaylen Brown, it is almost incomprehensible to me. You solve none of your money issues. You don't get better on the court. And I'm just left to wonder what the relationship status with Jaylen Brown was that delivered you to this point where you would make this trade. Again, maybe there's more to it than we know to this point. But on the surface, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around this trade.
Yeah, is there any group of television analysts for any team that were more off the mark about all of this? From the very beginning, it's like, first of all, the Celtics can't miss on Giannis if they offer up Brown. So everyone completely overestimated, this is national too, his value. Then it was, well, there's no real reason they want to get rid of Brown. Like, they'll just keep him. I mean, they're going to just keep him. And then you're like, okay. And then
if they do get rid of him, you have to get another top 15 player back.
Right. And then, if that doesn't happen, then you're going to have to get 4 first-round picks because, like, his value is really high. And so it was like a bunch of stuff. They didn't necessarily want to get rid of him.
Or you got to trade. I'm sorry, but you got to trade him to a team out west, somebody that you're not going to have to contend with.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, and teams, and a lot of teams want him. Like, don't be ridiculous. Like, he's a top 15 player in the league. A lot of teams want him. The Celtics would definitely keep him. All these things, like, you're all wrong. Like, everything was wrong, and something's going on that no one knows about. It's very difficult usually to be this off on something that there were all these signs, and it's very unique to the Celtics. Like, this almost like ridicule of you when you don't pretend to be an expert. You're just like, this is what's going on. This seems real odd.
You can understand why, and I'm guilty of this too. Why everyone overvalued Jaylen Brown?
No, I know. But it's not the personal opinion of the analyst. At that point, it's like this pushing back on that something that seems to be going on is going on. They're actively shopping a guy, so there's some reason they want to get rid of him. So that's one thing, and that was head in the sand, pretending that that's not going to happen, and that his value is so high. Well, no, it's not, because no one's biting on this. And now that he went to Philadelphia, of all places, for this, no one wanted him. What do you mean no one wanted him? What do you mean no one wanted him? No one wanted him! No one wanted him! They wanted it. They were desperate to get rid of him, and no one wanted him. Well, it's money, it's money, it's money. What money? They don't save any money. For 2 years, they don't save. No, John, I know what you're going to say. Well, they would have to extend him. No. No more. No one wanted him. They didn't want him. No one wants Jaylen Brown. I don't know why, but it's the facts. This is a disastrous move for what you received back. And cut the crap with the money stuff. Something's going on. And the whole league knows it. But no one who talks about basketball for a living knows it. It's very frustrating to me.
I don't know how we got from being a finalist, regardless of how you feel about Jaylen Brown. They were a finalist for Giannis. It was them and Miami. That was it. And it went into the wee hours of the morning. The Celtics were right there with Jaylen Brown.
But we don't know that, because I'm going to tell you that it seems to me that the Celtics were being now entirely used. Because I heard Windhorst saying, and I trust what Windhorst says, but he's like, they were on the, like, Milwaukee was on the fence. Milwaukee was on the fence. I don't really know that Milwaukee might have said they were on the fence
and said, "Look, I believe there's a they could be considered a finalist and say, okay, Giannis is gone. You know, much like Jalen is gone from the Celtics, and Milwaukee just made their peace with that. What are we going to get back? Jaylen Brown, interesting. What else? Picks? No. We're talking Gonzalez. We're talking Shireman. We're talking other players. We're talking about all this other stuff." And if you get into the conversation with one other team because you're offering up Jaylen Brown, if you don't come to the table with all the other stuff that it's going to require, you weren't really a finalist. Okay. You were just one of two teams you were talking to.
It seems, and we said this the day after, that Miami or that Milwaukee wanted the Celtics to match Miami's offer, but Brown instead of Hero. And I'm not even positive they wanted that. Because it seems like they just want to dump the Hero contract. So I don't know if they wanted Brown. And if they were just asking the Celtics to keep adding and adding and adding, I mean, you can understand why the Celtics would balk at that because they'd be like, you're out of your mind. I'm not going to give
Before they fully understood the market for Jaylen Brown.
Which was non-existent.
Yeah.
I don't know. It must be something horrible for not even be able to get a young player in return. Apparently, the Celtics asked for VJ Edgecombe, and the Sixers said no.
Oh yeah,
and they still did the deal.
Yeah,
I mean, Jaylen Brown was just outside being a first-team All-NBA player. And Brad Stevens has won the NBA's Executive of the Year 2 of the last 3 years, one for building a championship team and the other for expertly dismantling it and still making it a contender.
All right.
And they still made this deal.
Yeah, we have to break. It's just that the league and everyone in the Celtics and everyone in the league has a different impression of Jaylen Brown than anyone else has.
Just a horrible trade.
It's very unique to this particular situation, this particular team. The coverage of it has been maddening. I like Gary Washburn, so we're having him on. He seemed to be pretty open to this stuff is kind of crazy right away. But the pushback on every angle on this thing was really something else. It just ignoring everything that's going on and just assuming that no, this is all okay.
At just 10 seconds, the all the analytics and all the the machinations and all the theories. Who mentioned the 76ers?
Right,
nobody,
no one. Because
wasn't
who would have
even
thought?
A consideration.
Because that has to be quite literally one of the two last teams that you'd want to do business with. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Paul George, 2 first-round draft picks and a pair of second-rounders. Brown has 3 years left on his contract. George is 6 years older and has 1 left, plus a player option. The Green yesterday also signed Knicks free agent Mitchell Robinson to a 3-year contract and guard Mike Conley to a 1-year deal. Bruins were busy on day 1 of NHL free agency. They traded Jonas Korpisalo to the Rangers for a 4th-round draft pick and a minor league forward, and then later in the day sent a 2nd-round draft pick and a conditional 3rd to New York for would-be top 4 defenseman Will Borgen. The Bruins have brought back Connor Clifton on a 2-year contract and Jordan Harris on a 1-year deal. Bruins free agent Victor Arvidsson has signed a 2-year contract with Detroit. The U.S. advanced to the round of 16 in the knockout round of the World Cup last night. This is care of a 2-0 win over Bosnia-Herzegovina. Fuller and Balogun snapped a scoreless tie in the 45th minute, but he was also given a red card in the 64th minute, and the U.S. played a man down the rest of the way. He's also going to miss the next game, which is against Belgium Monday night in Seattle. Belgium came back from down 2-0 late to beat Senegal 3-2 in overtime. England a 2-1 winner over DR Congo, and the Red Sox lost to the Washington Nationals yesterday 10-2. Connolly early yesterday placed on the injured list with left elbow inflammation. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Watch the world's biggest matchups with 98.5 The Sports Hub. Details at 98.5thesportshub.com. Presented by Michelob Ultra, the official beer sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 2026. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's never changed. It's never changed. It's the same thing over and over and over and over. It's just never good. It wasn't funny the first time.
Toucher and Hardy, mornings on the Sport.
Thing, I mean, is a little insulting that you didn't think that I knew about.
He mansplained some baseball thing to me the other day.
Quality start.
Oh, quality start. Yeah, it was, 6
Quality
innings,
start.
3 runs or less. I know.
When he explains baseball to me, I do find it a little insulting.
How many times have I explained baseball to you?
I don't know. I'm very sensitive to it because I'm like,
I don't think I've done that a lot.
I don't, well, maybe not, but I'm like, I don't need it. Stop explaining to me.
Okay.
If you want to explain basketball, professional basketball to me.
In this instance, you asked about the song, and I explained it to you.
No, I know. But it's just, but you could have just said, like, it's the.
Oh, I see what you're
Aztec
saying. I Sham Sharania'd it. I understand.
Yeah,
Adam Scheftered it.
It just sounds like to be honest with you, it sounds like it does sound like this. Like, you idiot. Like, I gotta really explain this to you. Like, you could have just said it's the Aztec Gino song, and then I go, yeah.
Not Aztec Gino.
Not whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if it makes you feel any better, that is not how it's intended.
No, I know it's not. That's why I'm saying it, and that's why I'm not yelling at you or like going, "Hey, you moron." I'm just saying that.
That's Hardy. Hardy does that.
Okay, I'm just saying that it's sometimes I'm like, yeah, dude, all right. Like, it's I might not even know, but just say like, hey, this is the but at the end of games, if the Celtics are winning, that's like, okay,
got it.
I have been
to a modern day Red Auerbach cigar. You see, Fred, Red Auerbach used to light a cigar.
Exactly.
And it was a celebratory cigar.
Point taken.
All right. Very good. Again, I am, Jaylen Brown, everyone knows the deal by now. And I am interested as much as any. Well, first of all, a lot's got to be going on. Brad Stevens is being positioned as an idiot, and I just don't think he is.
He's an excellent executive, and you have to figure, A, he was pushed into this, B, there was just no better offer, or C, ownership said, just go.
Okay.
Do this now.
Okay, so let's go through any other scenario that could possibly be what's going on. Okay, so saving money. Okay. So you wanted to save money and you wanted to get Britta Brown and you don't want to give him an extension. Fine. But you took a 36-year-old guy that's making $54 million and then $56 million next year. There had to have, and I understand that salaries have to match and there has to be some of that. like you couldn't have traded for a expiring deal or something like that. So the money thing of just unloading Jaylen Brown for money doesn't make a lot of sense if you're talking about over $100 million to a 36-year-old guy. I don't believe that is entirely what it could possibly be. Then there was, no one knows what they're talking about. He has this incredibly high trade value. He's the best. I'm a little interested in how, no one in the NBA outside of every team had any idea that Jaylen Brown had dings on him and that no one wanted him. What do you mean no one wanted him? I mean, no one wanted him. That this deal is what you would, that the guy from the guy Kessler or whatever from Milwaukee, or not Milwaukee, from Utah went for more than this.
2 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps.
So he went for more than this.
Correct.
Something is going on in the league. There's Brad Stevens didn't get. I can't imagine that the ownership would go, we want to save money, go deal for Paul George. They'd say, we want to save money, get rid of Brown, but they didn't even have to, even to stay under the apron, they didn't have to get rid of Brown this summer. They could have gotten rid of him in February and still stayed under the apron.
You probably would have gotten a desperate team to step up to the plate around the trade deadline, regardless of whether or not you had to make amends with Brown. Oh, you didn't get what you wanted for Jaylen Brown? You're not forced to trade him. Wait. He's going to put up numbers for you this year, and if you're that desperate to get rid of him, somebody's going to step forward in February.
And to be honest with you, they didn't even really have to get rid of him in February. I mean, they could have something had to be going on where they had to get rid of him, and they had to get rid of him now. I refuse to believe that Brad Stevens did this without any sort of motivation from Brown's end or any sort of proprietary information that the league also knew. Because and then, by the way, you had people saying that they didn't want to do the Giannis trade. Well, how do you feel now? The Giannis trade would have been almost inconceivably good compared to this. You didn't want a 31-year-old guy?
How funny is that?
That's a top 5 guy. You got a 36-year-old guy that's taking steroids and sucking.
I was in that camp of not wanting to deal Brown. I didn't want them to break up the Tatum-Brown combo. I was not convinced that they're unable to win with this combination. Stupid me, because they, did win it 2 years ago, and Brown has been not only the MVP of that championship run, but also very good this past season. So, yeah, I didn't want it to happen even for Giannis because I wasn't convinced that Giannis. And now it's like, what do you expect people to react to and say anything other than, this is crap. You have done nothing to make this team better. They are unequivocally worse.
Oh, yeah, they're worse.
They are a worse team today.
Yeah, worse defensively, they're worse offensively.
There's no debate.
Paul George is going to get hurt. He's going to be gone for a period of time. And unless Peyton Pritchard steps up and starts scoring 20 points a game over a long period of time during the season, you're going to have trouble scoring the basketball here. There aren't a lot of offensive Mitchell Robinson isn't an offensive option for you.
Oh, I don't know.
Neemias Cade is not an offensive option for you. Where is the offense coming from?
And don't bother trying to wrap your head around Paul George and why they decided he's the guy. He's not the guy. They're the team that said yes to some type of deal that you put to them, and they just said okay. But I think it is a fool's errand to try and waste any time trying to figure out why they wanted Paul George. They didn't want Paul George.
No, they didn't want Paul George.
They wanted Jaylen Brown off team.
Off the team.
Remember, Chris, we had Chris Mannix on, and I asked him why would the Celtics just trade Jaylen Brown for picks? And his point, and looking back on it, I understand it, was, okay, you'd get these picks and then flip them for something else. The picks they got, they're not flipping for anybody.
No.
This was a straight salary dump. There's no escape from this. There isn't any way you can spin this and go, okay, we made this move because then we can make that move.
But it's not even really a salary dump, and I'll continue to bang this drum. And is that for 2 years you're not dumping any salary,
as opposed to the comparison. Obviously, would be okay. you had one more year of Brown plus the 2-year extension. So instead of 5, it's only 2.
But you didn't have to, like by rule, you didn't have to extend Brown. The only thing is you believed if you didn't extend Brown, he'd go ape crap. And then the rest of the league must have known that. Something's going on.
So wait until he goes ape crap and then do the deal.
I agree.
You're not going to get as good a deal. You got a crap deal now.
But you wouldn't have done any worse. But so obviously Brad Stevens doesn't have a head injury. Like, I mean, obviously he was pushed into this, and I don't think it's by ownership. I think that and if you're in the league and you could go, I can get Jaylen Brown just from what we know about Jaylen Brown, and you could get him and you could unload a horrible contract and give up a couple first-round picks and get Jaylen Brown. If I would have told you that 2 months ago, I would have been laughed off the air. If other teams obviously knew they could dump a bad contract and give up nothing and get Jaylen Brown and chose not to do it.
Remember, Portland was saying, well, we're not going to give you Avdia, who's our all-star. We're not going to give you any building blocks. Donovan Clingan, he's off limits. We're not trading him for Jaylen Brown. Mm-hmm. And you're looking at it and go, what? I mean, it should be Avdia for Brown, young all-star for older all-star. That would be an even deal, but Portland just said no. And Portland's not in any bargaining position. And we were wondering, what the hell are they thinking?
And you think they wouldn't have rather taken a deal from Portland and sent him off to Portland than they would have?
Oh, God,
sent him
yes.
in
This is
division?
the worst place you can send them other than the Knicks. This is awful.
I mean, they're the team that beat you. I mean, the Knicks beat you 2 years ago. So, yes, it's insane. But you did get a tall guy from the Knicks that can't score. Bradley, go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to say I think you hit it on the head. Something smelly about this whole thing. Something with Jaylen they did not want, and I think something's going to come out. But I will say that they were never going to win a championship with just those two.
No, they're certainly not going to win one now.
And if they follow the Red Sox playbook, yeah, something will come out. You know, some type of PR campaign.
Sox are great at that smear campaign out the door. That's very true.
Anti-Jaylen Brown messaging getting out there, but no one's going to buy it.
I will, because no one wanted him. This had to be the last thing that the Celtics wanted to do. Unless they're actively tanking, they would have, for a deal of this negative return, they wouldn't have literally sent him anywhere else in the league?
Yeah.
Which means that every other team in the league didn't want Brown.
You don't
No,
send
they
him
did.
to
They
it.
did. They did. No, they did not. You can dump an old, horrible contract and throw in some crap and get Brown. They had to have offered this to every other team in the league, and every other team in the league said no. We don't want to do that. So something is going on. It doesn't make any sense. Now, if this was Sacramento or Portland, then you might go, okay, well, they just wanted to get him away and all that. And then that would have given him a little bit of leeway.
That makes more sense.
There's no way they sent him to Philadelphia for this if anyone else wanted him. You do understand that. Please use logic, audience. This is the worst team they could have dealt with. They did not want to do this. Ownership didn't say, send him to Philadelphia. I mean, come on. So say ownership said that we want to dump Brown's contract. I don't want Brown. I don't want to pay him. I don't. Fine. Then they went to 29 teams and said, we'll give you Brown for nothing. And 28 of them said no. That's a fact. There's no way they didn't shop him to the entire league before they went to Philadelphia. Name two other teams that would have been a worse place to deal him to. Come on. You don't think they offered him to every Western Conference team? Everyone, they were open for business. Utah traded a guy not even until now considered in the same stratosphere as Brown for more.
The scary thing is he's still not. Even after this deal.
Well, I'm telling you, there's something going on where the league doesn't want him and the Celtics don't want him, and it's not analytics. There's no way.
It can't be the online stuff. It has to be something else.
No, it cannot be the online stuff because star players get away with a lot worse stuff than that.
There's something.
It's nothing about his political stuff. It's nothing. Something's going on. Because even if he was an incredibly distressed asset and everyone knew that you could get him for nothing, another team would have gotten him for nothing.
I know. He's never in trouble with the law. He does stuff he did stuff in the community while he was here. I don't get this. I don't get this at all. Very strange.
Like, you can get on the air and you can go, this is a terrible deal, which it is. And you can go, the ownership is terrible, which it might be. All of that. But there's no way anyone that has had any success in any aspect of life went go deal into Philadelphia for Paul George. No. No way. And so there has to be a reason that no other team in the NBA would have pulled the trigger on a deal like this. Come on. His perceived value from everyone outside of people that are in front offices was 20,000 times higher than it is
in the prime of his career. He's second team All NBA.
30 in the fall.
Good Lord.
I just can't imagine what could come out. What would the story be that would somehow explain this? I mean, something that's not going to blow up the deal and result in his immediate dismissal from the league. I mean, what? Oh, he didn't get along with Tatum. He wasn't on board with Mazzulla's coaching style. Well, coach him, manage it. That's a huge part of the job. Manage it. I would say for NBA head coaches and for front office people, a big part of the job is managing the egos in the locker room.
Tatum, he doesn't get along with Mazzulla. Fine. Then you were going to deal him. Why didn't anyone else want him?
The Tatum angle is interesting. And the afternoon show's been all over this. Tatum hasn't said a word on social media about Brown for the last 3 weeks. Derek White posted a big love letter yesterday. Nothing from Tatum.
Okay, can I ask you something, though? But fine, that's why the Celtics wanted to get rid of him. Why did no one want him? That's the question. Anything is valid for why the Celtics didn't want him if they got rid of him to any other team but Philadelphia or New York.
I'm grabbing at straws here because I don't understand it, but maybe because they knew the Celtics were dealing from a position of weakness.
But John, why wouldn't you dump an old, horrible contract for some stiff that you have and attach 2 terrible picks to it and go, here, good, I'll take Brown. Fine. I'll take Brown and not play him. If you want Paul George, I'll take Brown. In worst case scenario, I'll just sit him on the bench. It's no worse than playing Paul George. Come on. They obviously shopped him everywhere, and this deal is so preposterously bad in such a terrible place to send him, where you're going to have to play him, and they're going to go further in the playoffs than you, and everything else that comes negatively for that.
Years.
Right. So, yeah, the 76ers happen to have.
You're going to run across this team every single year.
So
multiple times a year.
So they would have taken
and in the playoffs.
They would have taken probably a worse deal from anyone else.
Yeah.
And no one would give it to them.
Especially one of those teams out west that you have no chance of seeing other than once or twice a year. Like, and you have to worry about them if you make it to the finals. No, you don't. You send them to one of those teams.
Well, you're not going to the finals. You don't have to worry about going to the finals. All right, Gary Washburn is going to join us. The phone lines are all jammed up. Everyone's very excited. The big things happening, and it didn't happen today, which would have been bad because then we're not on the air for 3 days, so we get a day of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll be back with Gary Washburn, who I like, who's reasonable. We'll talk to him about that.
Touch your...
They were really trying to trade this guy. I mean, there was no going back after the Giannis thing failed. Like, I don't get it. It's a horrible ending to a great 10-year run for him, and a horrible way for this guy to end, like, just to kick him out, basically, to put him out on the curb. Terrible.
That is friend of the show, Gary Washburn, writes about the NBA for the Boston Globe. And he is kind enough to join us after what had to be a very busy day and night. Gary, hello, sir. Thank you.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's good. I imagine you're quite tired, and I do appreciate you getting up and talking to us. All right. And I don't think this is probably the last stop of your media tour today. But, okay. Why did this happen? I don't know how to phrase it best, but why was this the return? Why was it Philadelphia? Why did no one else in the league make this deal if this was the kind of deal that was going to be accepted? What's going on?
I do think probably there were other deals that the Celtics could have accepted that were better than this one. I just think they held out for something that they weren't going to get for Jaylen Brown. And for whatever reason, they decided just to settle for the deal that was on the table, which was the expiring, 2-year salary of Paul George, the 2 first-round picks, and to walk away from this and just kind of be done with it. I don't know what. It's 2 months now since the Celtics have been eliminated by the Sixers in the playoffs. I have not heard anything about why they felt like they had to trade Jaylen Brown, but the brass obviously met in the days after that Game 7 loss and decided the way to go forward with this team was trading Jaylen Brown, and that's what the offseason goal was. And it would have been very neat to include him in the Giannis trade and bring Giannis back and excite Celtic fans with another generational talent or, someone who's even better and is going straight to the Hall of Fame and all the great potential that pairing would have had with Jason Tatum, but instead they settle for this. And not only do you trade him to a conference rival, you now make that conference rival longtime rival, 60-plus year rivalry. Now you make them better. They get off a contract that they regretted the moment they signed Paul George, that 4-year, $212 million deal. It was with regret. The minute they drove that Paul George car off the lot, they wanted to take it back. And now you gave them that cap relief and gave them that relief and replaced them with a player 6 years younger. It makes absolutely no sense unless there's a subsequent move that's going to, surprise everybody. This is just an all-out terrible trade.
Okay, no doubt. And no doubt you're taking on a terrible contract for an old player. But if you're any other team in the league and the Celtics are like, we'll give you Jaylen Brown for a terrible contract and some crap, why did no one else in the league go, okay, like if you insist, we'll take him off your hands? Like, Philadelphia seems like one of the 2-3 worst places that you could send him for your own
sanity.
Your own your own interests.
Why did no other team say yes to this deal?
Wouldn't you cross that team off your list?
Yes, and that's why this is fascinating.
Yes.
If this was Portland,
like 6 teams,
right,
you probably wouldn't trade him to, right?
Yeah.
Toronto, you wouldn't trade him to a team in your division. You wouldn't trade you would try to trade him out west, just because you wouldn't have to see him 4 times a year. So the Philadelphia thing is just perplexing. I thought you did not deal with your rivals in terms of, it's like the Yankees and Sox don't deal a whole lot, right? This doesn't happen. You're not trying to help each other out, regardless of how maybe good down the road it might turn out. I don't understand why they took this deal. You wait, or if you really want to trade them, okay, why not next summer? You bring the team back. You've made 2 moves earlier in the day with Mike Conley and Mitchell Robinson that are geared toward winning now. So you bring back Jaylen and you see what happens. And if you want to move the contract after the 27th season and next summer, okay, however 27 turns out. If you don't want to extend him, okay, you don't want to pay him $70 million a year. You want to move forward. You don't want to pay. He's going to be in his early 30s. Okay, understandable, I guess. But this, no, it's just a waste of resources, and it just challenged you. Now you start doubting what the Celtics are trying to do here. Usually, regardless if you agreed with the trade or not over the last several years, the moves that Brad Stevens made, you trusted that Stevens had the team's best winning interest at heart. This trade, and you could even throw in the Simons for Vucevic deal, kind of starts to challenge that. What are they trying to get at here? And that's what I think the biggest concern is. The trust for Brad Stevens is now lessened considerably. When your fan base doesn't trust the GM, that's not a good thing.
But at the same time, Brad Stevens has been an excellent GM up until now, executive of the year in the NBA 2 of the last 3 years. Do you think there is a problem between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, or do you think Bill Chisholm made a phone call? Are either of those two things a possibility here?
I think it could be a potential Chisholm thing. I think they decided that we're not going to extend him. We're not going to keep him on the payroll beyond the 3 years remaining on his deal, which, okay, as I said, that's fine. But you don't force a deal like this. You don't just hammer out a deal and whatever you get, you get. And I just don't want to hear, well, that 2028 first-round pick could be very valuable. Fans aren't trying to hear that. The public, 31 first-round pick. That's just ridiculous when Tatum is 34 years old. You're trying to win now, which is I thought the goal was to take advantage of the window of Jason Tatum. He's your cornerstone. He's your golden child, right? He's 29 in March, okay, coming off an Achilles. We don't know how much time he has left in terms of being a, high-level, top 10 basketball player. So his time is now. And you sign a 38-year-old Mike Conley. He ain't for the future, and neither is Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson's had injuries. Mitchell Robinson probably ain't playing another 10 years. So you're preparing for now. And then you bring on Paul George, who is not only at the tail end of his career, but has been often injured. It's just a terrible look. And unless they flip it over the next few weeks to something, a prospect or someone, a Trey Murphy, I don't understand this. And the people I talk to around the league, no one is saying, hey, I can see how this could work out for the Celtics. No, not sending him to Philly.
Yeah, and that was going to be my question to you, Gary. You just mentioned Trey Murphy as one possible option that they have now. If they are looking to make another deal here, what would it look like? Would it be players already on the roster? Would it be some of these picks they just got back in this deal? And would it be for a young player that could conceivably, at the very least, make them better than what they are right now? Because all they did yesterday was get much worse.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, if you want to try to flip the George deal, George has 2 more years and a player option next year for $56 million, which I'm certain he'll pick up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just don't think there's a doubt there.
Yeah.
And so you probably, to move George, would have to wait till next year where it's expiring. That's more encouraging for other teams not to have 2 years of Paul George. That's why Paul George hasn't been moved yet. This is the new general manager in Philadelphia, and he's already moved the worst contract on the team. So he should probably get GM of the year next year to take over and succeed Brad Stevens. So to me, you would have to trade someone currently on your roster, like a Derek White, you'd have to move someone already on your roster, not named Paul George. If you're going to flip it into a Trey Murphy, and let's say you acquired those 2 first-round picks to add to the deal. Now, if that's the case, if you have something worked out with another team and they are just looking for draft capital, but I don't think the New Orleans Pelicans is looking for draft capital. I think they're looking to win. They've lost long enough. So I don't know what the end game is here. It just seems extremely forced, extremely rushed, and it's just, I think it's probably the worst trade on paper as we speak in franchise history.
Okay, so if you're all right, I'm still interested in why Philadelphia, and that there's no way that this is what the Celtics had planned or wanted to do. So if you're the owner and you want to dump salary, again, you could have done it in February and still stayed under the apron. You could have, like you said, waited until next offseason. You could have done a lot of things. So, Gary, there's two things to me that are the most interesting. Is one, why you felt like you needed to do it now, because it's not flipping picks and things like that. Because again, why did 29 other teams in the league not make this deal? To me, it seems like, okay, I can dump my worst contract and throw in crap and get Jaylen Brown. Why was Jaylen Brown not of more value to other teams in the league?
Well, one, I think that it's a tough time with the draft. Teams are building. Jaylen has a $60 million a year contract. That's a tough contract to move unless, like the Sixers did, you move back a bad contract. That's what generally happens. That's why guys like Trae Young or Anthony Davis get traded. The other team takes bad expiring contracts back. Or you take a bloated contract of a Jordan Poole or the expiring contract of a C.J. McCollum. Like, you take back a deal that pretty much nobody wants, and that was a regrettable deal the moment it was signed. That's exactly what the Celtics just did. However, if you're the Celtics, why wouldn't you? I'm sure they asked for VJ Edgecombe. That's the thing. If you get Edgecombe back in this deal, everybody feels differently, right? You got an aging player, a bad deal, but you also got a dude who's going to be a rising star. Mm-hmm. That makes everyone feel differently about the deal. You just got Paul George. You couldn't have asked for Phillies, just the guy they just took in the first round last week. You couldn't have asked for anybody besides Paul George. That's all you got back. So, to me, I don't know what – obviously Jalen's worth around the league lessened, and then everyone started dissecting his game, and here comes the analytics, and, well, is he a problem off the floor? Why is Boston killed his trade value with this freaking, 10-day dangling of him? Like, eventually you keep looking at a guy, it looks good the first day, and day 10 you're like, I'm okay. Why are you still trying to sell me this? And so Boston handled this terribly. Its own asset, a guy they drafted, 29 points a game. I haven't seen a worse marketing job in years. Like, Enron stock got a better marketing, was better. I'd purchase that before Jaylen Brown trade. Like, the new Coke was marketed better. Like, I don't even know what to say about how poorly this was handled from a PR aspect of it. Like, it's just it was terrible. It was like how not to conduct a trade, how not to trade an asset. Like, the Celtics should probably send that on a flash drive or something to people. How not to do this.
All right. Well, Gary Washburn, a very interesting day. Read Gary in the Boston Globe for all the breaking information that comes out about this. Thank you, Gary. We always appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Appreciate it. I still don't know why no one else in the league did this deal. It still hasn't been explained to me.
It sounds to me the more we hear about it, it's a combination of events. I mean, Gary's right.
Okay, we got a break, but there's a combination of a lot of events. It's still he was available and no one else did it, and it seems like they would have dealt with anyone but Philadelphia. But okay, all right. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics.
my buddy, and me.
Now, more of your best morning buddies, Dutcher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
TV show appearance and looked like she was holding a live rattlesnake.
Well, the rapper from Linkin Park Mike Shinoda got real mad at me when I was on BCN because I'm like, you really know how to play that thing? And he got really upset he didn't take that. And I was joking around. So what do you think? You know me? And I'm like, no, I know Chester. I don't know you. But
I don't know you.
I don't know you like that.
You don't know me. I ain't the one.
I knew you from the Pink Pony when you were recording your first album, but come on. By the way, Walker Kessler from the Utah Jazz was traded for unprotected first-round picks in 31 and 33 and first-round swaps in 28 and 30. So that's more than Jaylen Brown, as we've discussed. Jaylen Brown in a trade with Philadelphia for crap. They got actively worst, and I don't know why no one else in the league would take a similar deal. I don't know why the Celtics felt the need to do it right now. This is all information that is yet to come out. Andre, go ahead.
Hey guys, good morning.
Hey.
I just don't know why Pete Buttigieg made this trade. I feel bad for Brad. The guy kind of looks like Pete Buttigieg. It's a terrible trade. And the analytics guys got Mitchell Robinson right, because every time Brad had him on the board, they were trying to foul him. It was a hack at Mitch. But this is terrible. I feel bad. That's all I got.
Well, unless the league is all following the same analytics blindly, it still doesn't explain to me why no one else made this deal, because Philadelphia would have been the last place that they wanted to send him. So an explanation has not been given out. And I don't believe that Brad Stevens just panicked and forgot how to run a front office and said, we have to do this, and there was no reason behind it. He had to have literally been shopped to every other team in the league. Quite literally. Before they got to Philadelphia. Maybe the Knicks. And the Knicks were like, we can't do it. We can't match salaries. You'd find a way to match that. If Jaylen Brown is the sixth best player in the NBA, and according to the MVP voting he was last year, you would move heaven and earth to go get him.
The Knicks would have found a way to get that done.
I'll just get so Cade Cunningham, the guy that barely beat him out. Like if the Pistons said, "Hey, league, we're trading Cade Cunningham," what do you think the league would have done? And we're desperate to do it. We have to get rid of him. What do you think Cade Cunningham would have gone for?
Oh, man.
8 first-round picks? I mean, they would have found the Pistons would be picking the first round into the year 2700.
It has nothing to do with Brown's age. It has nothing to do with anything on the floor. I don't get it, and it must be something really, really bad for Brad to do this. He's really good at his job up until now. This is a horrible trade. So not only for picks, but for just matching salaries. You get actively worse for at least 2 years. I don't get any of this.
But short of like an Ime Udoka type of transgression, like what is it? And even there were teams ready to take on Ime right away. It's like,
exactly.
So what?
You can't speculate on what it is, because who knows? I'm a little disappointed that no one knows, and that no one, including Shams Charania, who just breaks news, so whatever. But Windhorst, is a guy who writes and can express himself. I don't know why no one was plugged in enough to kind of give you any reasonable information about any of this.
Right.
Which is worse, this or the Devers trade?
Well, the Devers trade,
I think this is worse.
This is worse because they sent Devers to San Francisco, and also Devers was actively acting out. Like he was visibly acting out.
And what Jalen's been doing online does not constitute the level of acting out that Devers was doing.
Yeah, like Devers was like refusing to play.
Yeah.
So,
and also there was plenty of debate as to whether or not Devers was going to be any good, going forward and where he landed. I don't know that Is anyone saying that Jaylen Brown flat out stinks and he's not going to be a good player
I don't
for a
know
team for years to come?
I didn't hear anyone saying Devers wasn't going to be any good. Now it turns out he's not very good this year. But so you might be right, but I don't recall hearing that. The Devers thing, Devers was actively during the season going I don't want to do any of this. And it was a terrible, terrible, terrible trade where they got actively worse. And again, maybe it was a worse trade because other teams would have taken Devers for more. I don't know. I'm more apt to say Breslow blew a trade than Stevens blew a trade. Again, I just am not accepting that Stevens lost his mind or that ownership, for whatever reason, some guy that was successful enough to swoop in and buy the Celtics went, I got to do this today. You got to do it now. And then they went, okay, well. No. And then again, I'm just going to keep repeating myself because no one is even addressing the question.
Go ahead and repeat it because I have half an answer for you.
Okay.
Go ahead, repeat
Why
the
did no
question.
one else in the league want Jaylen Brown?
Analytics. And we have gotten into the analytical side of this with the help of Tom Haberdashery.
Haberstroh.
He's gotten to the bottom of it. We'll tell you why, and we'll explain it next.
Well, if he's running a haberdashery, why didn't he get to the top of it? Yes, I'm on fire today. I feel like we have a lot of listeners, and this is when you want to shine with the improv and the quick quips.
Hey, tip of the cap.
Yeah,
I punched it.
You punched it up. You gave it. Yeah, you gave it a little punch. All right, we'll be right back.
More.
turn in the last 24 hours after they traded one of their franchise cornerstones, Jaylen Brown, to Philadelphia last night. In return, the Celtics got back 36-year-old Paul George, 2 first-round draft picks, and a pair of second-rounders. Brown's a Finals MVP who had 3 years left on his contract. He'll now play the Celtics at least 4 times a season. Celtics also added a pair of free agents as well. They signed Knicks big man Mitchell Robinson to a 3-year, $47.4 million contract and guard Mike Conley to a 1-year deal. As for the Bruins, they were busy as well yesterday. They traded Jonas Korpisalo to the Rangers for a 4th-round draft pick and a minor leaguer, and then later in the day sent a 2nd-round draft pick and a conditional 3rd to New York for would-be top 4 defenseman Will Borgen. Bruins have also brought back Connor Clifton on a 2-year contract. Bruins free agent Victor Arvidsson has signed a 2-year deal with Detroit. In soccer news, the U.S. advanced to the round of 16 to the knockout round of the World Cup last night, care of a 2-0 win over Bosnia-Herzegovina. Fuller and Balogun snapped the scoreless tie in the 45th minute, but he was also given a red card in the 64th minute. U.S. played a man down the rest of the way, and Balogun is out for the team's next game, which is in the round of 16 against Belgium on Monday night in Seattle. Belgium beat Senegal 3-2. England came back to beat DR Congo yesterday 2-1, and the Red Sox lost to the Washington Nationals yesterday 10-2. They're on the West Coast to play the Angels tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti and Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, the hair doctor of Hardy, Dave Portnoy, and Charlie McAvoy. Call 1-800-GET-HAIR for your free consultation. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
This is what happens when analysts take over the games, take over the sport.
This is where you talk sports.
It happens all the time.
The Sports Hub.
Oh boy, I guess it's time for more Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube, and watch the show at your leisure, if not live. And please participate in the chat. I hear it's a real humdinger. Listen, Jaylen Brown has been dealt, and he has been dealt to the 76ers. And he's been dealt for Paul George, who's owed over $100 million over the next 2 years, and for some garbage picks and pick swaps. And again, this gets us into the place where I don't believe that Brad Stevens all of a sudden has lost the ability to do his job. I don't know why ownership would go, you have to move him at any cost right now, even though financially there was no incentive to move him before February. I'm not going to speculate on anything he's done because he hasn't done anything online that justifies any of this. But the second part of it is they did deal him to Philadelphia, which is the last place you'd want to deal him. And if he was being offered up for basically two first-round picks and a bad contract that you wanted to unload, why did no one else in the league do this? If Philadelphia would have been the last place you wanted to do it. Again, if this was Portland, you could have gone, all right, well, they obviously were desperate just to get him out and to get him as far away as possible. This is as close as possible.
The answer, Fred? Analytics. And Tom Baltusrol from Yahoo Sports.
It's a golf club in Jersey, isn't it? Baltusrol?
Is that not his name?
No, it's not his name.
It's Baltazar.
Oh, Haberstroh. Can I get it?
Well done.
Says, look, it's all about the analytics. Now, the one thing that Jaylen Brown has been doing is talking a lot about his numbers and his analytics. And in one tweet here recently, he said, nobody has won more combined regular season and playoff games since I entered the league 10 years ago. So the first thing that Tom does and says, look, you can do a lot with analytics, and let me first tell you something. The person who won more games than anyone in from 2011 to 2021, just to use that metric. Was it Steph Curry? Was it LeBron James? No, it was Danny Green. So just saying nobody won more games than me through a certain period can cut both ways. Yes, it could be a player like Jaylen Brown. It could be a player like Danny Green. So he kind of leads off with that.
So it's not about wins and losses. You have to look deeper.
You have to look deeper. So let's start with Brown's concerning on-off splits. Okay? Mm-hmm. Advanced analytics will tell you that without Brown dominating the ball, the Celtics saw Derek White and Peyton Pritchard flourishing in the offensive attack. But when Brown checked onto the floor, the team's scoring rate dipped from 121.3 points to 119.9 per 100 possessions. In other words, players tend to play a little bit better when Brown is off the court. And the truth is that for the last 4 seasons, without Jaylen Brown on the floor, the Celtics were 47-10, which is the equivalent of being a 68-win team, enough to earn them the number 1 seed in almost every season on record. That's not analytics. That's just counting wins and losses for a team without a certain player.
2 seasons ago, they were 12-0 when he didn't play.
And drilling down to within the game, the Celtics' average score margin every 100 possessions fell into each of the last 4 seasons with Brown on versus when he was off. So this is all about the on-off analytics of Jaylen Brown on the court versus off.
So it's not really even analytics per se. It's just basic math. Mm-hmm. It's just basic statistics. When he's on the floor, they perform better than when he's off the floor. It's not advanced analytics, at least. I don't know what the definition of analytics is necessarily.
Now, again, these games don't take place in a vacuum. So when Brown is off the court, are other players from the other team also off the court? Maybe their best players leave the court? Is your bench deeper than these other teams? Well, they don't get into that so much. But there is another analysis here that says no player in the NBA lowers the points that his teammates score while on the court with him more than Jaylen Brown. He lops off 4 points per 100 from each of the 4 teammates that share the court with him. So, players on the court tend to score less when Jaylen Brown is on the court.
Which would make sense because he has the ball a lot more than everybody else.
It's
when
analytics.
he's on and they are.
Okay,
he's holding the team back.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the reason that he's not, no other team seemingly wants him, which you'll notice not a lot of pushback on that today, as opposed to last week. No team conceivably wants him, it seems. Are they all operating at a different wavelength in terms of how they judge talent than literally everyone that covers the NBA? Because that's fascinating. Like, so you have X, obviously there's got to be X front office guys in places of analyst roles and things like that. They're completely unaware of the perception of Brown around the league. If it just comes down to pure basketball, then it's an interesting indictment of the people that analyze it for a living, because no one has come out and said this. There was the one guy that came out and said that he had talked to front office people that said, or a front office person that said that Brown analytically was the 7th best Celtic. And we all kind of scoffed at it, and which is obviously what you would do with that information. But is that how the league perceives him? Is that the only reason that the Celtics were so desperate to get rid of him right now? And that, again, it came down to one of your biggest rivals, one of the teams that you're going to have to deal with the most in the league, was able to dump a garbage old guy's contract on you. According to Gary Washburn, one of the worst contracts in basketball on you, and give you almost nothing else in return. When Walker Kessler from Utah went to LA for 2 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps, which is better than having to take Paul George. They didn't have to take on anything.
They had to sign Kessler to a new deal, but yeah.
They didn't have to take on anything. They got the player, and if they chose to extend him, they extended him. They didn't take on anything else from the Lakers.
Yes.
Now, I understand there's probably salary matching and things of that nature that have to happen. Fine. But as Gary Washburn said, the way that they dealt Brown is usually what you would deal Paul George for. Like, Paul George would go, you would acquire picks for Paul George because you were taking them off their hands. So Jaylen Brown is being treated around the league as an albatross that needed to be, you had to incentivize getting rid of, taking. You were taking. They were almost paying you to take him.
We're in a period of time because the news cycle runs so fast that now people are rushing to the other side and they're trying to find a reason. Well, this argument's already played out, so let's see if we can find a justification for this. And if you take a look, all the analytics people are kind of falling in line with Haberstroh here. Well, Jaylen Brown, the on-off stats and the advanced metrics tell you that he's not a good player.
Okay, but John, why they're doing it is because you're trying. It's not stupid. You're trying to find out why this is going on.
Sure, but I'm reading all of this and I understand the justification for it. I just look at this guy and I'm not buying any of this. I'm looking at this player. He's great. He's been great for a while now, and his greatness was measured during the regular season when they had a skeleton crew and he won 56 games. He's a great player. I don't know what's wrong here. I'm not buying the advanced analytics. He's not making Philadelphia actively worse by being there. I don't get any of this.
Conceivably, he's making Philadelphia a lot better. Mike, go ahead.
Hey, guys, first off, I think you're missing something about the advanced analytics. It's not factoring in garbage time. But the main reason I wanted to call is I think the big issue is the Paul George contract, because I wonder if the Celtics can void his contract since he's already been suspended once, which saves money. And I wonder if he gets injured and misses a year, if the insurance pays for the contract, which, again, helps the Celtics save money. Feels like a private equity gamble to me.
Okay, so this is interesting because on its surface, when you look at the money, number one, they didn't have to extend Brown. They could have kicked that down the road. So you could say they're really not saving money. However, if they are able to void George's contract or they can do something insurance-related because of an injury, it gets back to the money. And this was one of the first things I heard after this trade went down. It's like, well, this is what you get when you get a private equity guy who now owns the team.
Okay,
he looks at it from a money standpoint.
But that's also a major gamble. You're assuming that he's going to get hurt for a year and that you can collect insurance on it, or that somehow you're going to be able to void the contract. And I would imagine that the NBA Players Association they don't let you run roughshod just voiding contracts all over the place.
But if there's zero chance of doing that with Jaylen Brown, and there's even a small chance you can do it with Paul George when you're crunching the financial numbers, well, that's the better investment.
Okay, but if you're looking to get rid of Brown and you're looking to save money, why would you do it in Philadelphia, and why would no other team be willing to do that?
Well, that's a different question.
But I'm saying if it was just to get rid of Brown's contract for money, couldn't you have traded Brown for an expiring contract? Or there has to be another way that if a team wanted Brown, they could have figured out it. Again, if Cade Cunningham is available, a team is figuring out a way to get him. Every team is figuring out a way to get him. There's no team that's there's 28 teams that are going to go wow, the Pistons have lost their mind. Private equity's running them, and they just need to get rid of it, and they're crazy, and they're finding a way to get this deal done. The Pistons aren't going to, Chicago and going here, and handing it to them and going here. Well, we'll see it. Or the Pistons are going to the Celtics and going here, you take them. Figure out, you're pretty good, take them. You're good. Handle this. Or, going to Cleveland. Yeah, you beat us in the playoffs. You take Cade Cunningham. What's your worst deal? The worst contract you have?
Yeah. What's your worst deal? And are you the worst team we could conceivably trade it to?
Exactly.
There's two boxes we're trying to check here. What's your worst contract, and do we really not want to do business with you? Yes and yes.
And is there some long shot way that you have a contract that could possibly in any way be voided? I guess. But if I'm private equity, I've made a lot of money in private equity, and I don't do that by doing stupid things.
What's your stinkiest contract? That's pretty stinky.
Yeah.
Is there anyone saying we shouldn't trade with you? Ooh, everybody? Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Smelly. Yeah.
I don't think Brad Stevens lost his mind, and I don't even think if you're private equity that your modus operandi is, which I know I'm saying a lot, is thank you, is it's first time today, is we're going to do like the dumbest things possible to save money. Like we're going to, at the cost, at the expense of any kind of benefit other than losing the money. Like they didn't do it with Tatum. Tatum makes a lot of money too. Why didn't they just move Tatum?
But that's why it feels very Red Soxian. You know, let's get rid of Devers. Why? Well, there's a lot of money. Well, are you going to get better? No.
Again, Devers was throwing fits in not. He was being actively obstinate. You've seen Cora tweet since then about his behavior in San Francisco, being like, "See what I had to deal with," basically. Devers was throwing a public fit. Now, if Brown was throwing a fit behind the scenes, again, okay, that's the motivation for the Celtics to get rid of him. We don't know that, but why would another team not take your asset?
I'm just saying, Devers is an example of something that the Red Sox have done several times over the years.
Right.
It's just saving money.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess. I mean, they got one guy back. He doesn't play for them, but they got one guy back that's an all-star. Now, he unfortunately doesn't play for them, but they got a guy who's pretty good for the Brewers. I mean, at least they got something, and he's not old.
No.
And he's not expensive.
Yeah, the Brown trade is worse. You've convinced me. I thought it was the other way, but no, the Brown trade is worse than that.
No, I mean, they picked up prospects and stuff. Like, I mean, no, the major league players they got were terrible.
Yeah,
but,
the Brown trade's worse.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And you can't convince me that Stevens just lost his mind in ownership. Like, if I was Stevens, I quit before I would let ownership. Like, if ownership is going to start sending me down these ways where I have to deal with Philadelphia and do like the worst contract worst deal you could possibly think of, I don't want this job anymore. Again, I could just keep repeating myself, but no one has explained why another team didn't make this deal. No one has explained it. And when you ask, it's kind of like avoided. I don't. Like, I know that the Celtics wanted Edgecombe. I know that the Celtics wanted another player. I get that. But that wasn't being offered by anyone. I don't know why.
No other team wanted to take on a player that in all but 2 of his 10 seasons, the team has a better winning percentage with him off the court than on the court. That's what the analytics say. And I'm saying this tongue in cheek because there's so many other factors when you're talking about a win-loss percentage. But that is one thing that people are pointing to this morning. Look at the wins and losses with Brown each and every season and without Brown. And in all but 2 of them, the win percentage is higher in games that he did not play.
I'm trying to think of if the Celtics have ever made a worse trade than this. And I'm having a hard time coming up with. I mean, Rick Pitino panicked and traded Chauncey Billups during his rookie year. Antoine Walker to Dallas. I don't know. I can't think of anything that is as bad as this. I remember they traded, didn't they? They traded Kendrick Perkins to Oklahoma City for Nenad Kristic. I mean, none of these are as bad. I can't think.
And brought in Shaq.
That's right. Yeah, right. But I can't think of another trade that's as bad as this one.
All right. We have to pivot for a moment. Tom Caron is going to join us. Maybe he has something to say about the Jaylen Brown trade as well, but we'll talk to Tom in just a moment.
Toucher and Hart.
obviously I was kicked out of the game, felt as though the comment made, sit down boy at the top of your lungs was part of what caused that to happen.
He covers the Red Sox, obviously. Tom, hello, sir.
Good morning. How are we doing?
And a lot to talk about. You think the Red Sox are psyched that the Celtics did something dumb?
Yeah, thank you very much. Little ground cover. Thanks. Probably happy about the USA winning that game. There's a good time to slip off to the West Coast, I guess.
You got World Cup fever, my friend. You can tell that this is.
I do. I'm a legit fan. I have been for a long time. I'm a soccer guy, and winning that, holding on to that match after a dubious red card, masterclass of a set piece. That was a great win last night.
The red card, just to the uninitiated and the novices, look to be, I guess, appropriate. You see the foot come down on that ankle. Looks pretty gnarly.
Spirit of the thing in real time. That's insane.
That's it. No, that's it, John. You got it. So the referee really has no choice but to give the red card after he sees that picture given back to him by VAR. VAR is not supposed to slow it down and go frame by frame.
Yeah.
It's not like, is your foot in bounds or out of bounds? It's not one of those kind of reviews. It's, did he intentionally stomp on the guy's ankle? And in real time, he did not intentionally do anything. He just landed on his foot. So you hope they repeal it. I mean, they won the game, but you lose him for the next one. And if they don't, and there is some precedent where they have listened to reviews, but the VAR should not have shown him a still shot, which apparently is what they showed him, of the foot down on the ankle. Because once a referee sees that, he's got to give the red card.
Yeah, in real time, it happened so fast, you could tell that there was no intent. I mean, if you want to penalize him, give him a yellow, whatever the case may be. But now you're without your best striker for the most important game. So that doesn't make any sense to me at all.
No, and that's the problem with the red cards. It's not just the rest of that one; it's what it does to your next match. So hopefully, I doubt they will win an appeal, but you hope there's at least a small chance he can come back.
Well, I saw Belgium score those 2 goals. I did see that.
Yep, great comeback.
That was a good match.
Yeah,
that was a good match. Crazy comeback at the end, and then again, a penalty kick before you get to the shootout was kind of crazy, but that was a good one. It's good for the U.S. that they had to play the extra half hour, get them good and tired.
There you go,
Tom. We were talking about the Jaylen Brown trade in relation to other trades here in town, and the one that we keep going back to is Devers and that trade.
Which is worse?
Yeah, which is worse? And we have our own thoughts, but just off the top of your head, if you had to pick one, which one's worse?
I mean, the thing about the Devers trade is if you would have kept the assets you got, you wouldn't be nearly as pissed off about that trade. Right? Like, yes. I mean, Kyle Harrison is an all-star, and he'd be in the middle of your rotation.
Oh, hold on. Tom, are you convinced that this organization would have promoted him? He was buried in Worcester last year.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. And that's fair. And we've seen a few guys, right? Quinn Priester goes out there and becomes a really good pitcher, though he's hurt this year. So other organizations have been able to unlock stuff in these guys. So that's fair. I don't know. When I thought about all that last night, this morning, I keep going back to Mookie Betts because that's the salary dump, right? The Mookie Betts trade is the trade that you could have used to completely, restart your rebuilding. But instead you threw in David Price and made it a strict salary dump.
You didn't trade him to the Yankees.
That's true.
That's fair. Yeah, at least dump him outside the division. That's what kills you about this. You got to watch him in Philly now.
Well, that's what's interesting about it is that it's not like they don't know that. So again, until I get an answer of why no other team made this deal with the Celtics, I will not be satisfied. Because I don't think Brad Stevens lost his mind. And I find it very difficult to believe that ownership said you have to deal him in July because there's no financial incentive to do it now. So there was some reason that the Celtics felt they had to do it now, and there's got to be a reason that no other team made this deal.
Yeah. Yeah, when you compare it to other trades, again, at least you give the Red Sox that credit, I guess, right? You ship guys off to San Francisco and L.A. and make deals with Milwaukee. At least you're not dealing with teams you're going to see a lot of. The Devers comp is interesting, too, because remember the timing of that was weird, too. Like, why'd you have to do it in June? right? You'd have gotten a lot more for Devers at the trade deadline. So what was going on? Was it so bad? And that's, the Red Sox say things have gotten pretty bad with him. Was it so bad that you had to pull him off a plane after a win over the Yankees and do it a month before maximizing your value? So it's a pretty good comparison when the timing and the inability to get more from another team. I think that there's a really good comparison there.
Okay, so with the Contreras thing that happened the other day, you got to understand Contreras' point of view. If the pitcher tells you to go sit down, and I mean he's mother effing you, and you're going to get upset about that. There can't be a lot of debate about that. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right. And you throw the word boy into that, and it makes it worse. There's no doubt. What was that earlier in the game thing when he kind of cut him off at the mound? That's kind of what sparks the whole thing. Contreras is not loved. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He's one of the more hated guys by opponents in the game because of the way he plays. But you can't say that. Especially, and I know the pitcher's not thinking, well, he's from Venezuela. He's dealing with a lot personally right now. I better tiptoe. That doesn't, I don't think that factors into the equation.
Yeah, that was the thing, Tom, is that they asked him after the game if it was racist. And this is from Contreras' point of view. It's like, don't belittle me like that. Like, this guy, I'm a man, and this is a man yelling at me like this. Take race out of it. Don't make it about me being Venezuelan. Anyone does this to me. Another Venezuelan guy does this to me, and I'm upset. Yeah. And by the way,
exactly right.
I'm a big Cardinals fan, and Contreras was on the Cardinals, and I don't recall anyone hating him on the Cardinals.
Well, it's funny. You know what, though? Caleb Durbin at the beginning of the season was talking about how everybody in Milwaukee hated him.
No?
Because he gets on, he leans into pitches. He plays fiery. Again, a guy that can get under your skin because, it is like Brad Marchand gets under your skin. He plays the game, and you don't see a lot of guys play baseball that way, right? Leaning into it, flipping a bat after a walk. I mean, you love it when he's on your team because he fires, and this team especially has needed that spark. So I think he's a really good fit, and I think he's the kind of player that Red Sox fans should love. But if you play against him, and it was interesting that it was Milwaukee, when they were here earlier this year, those guys were talking about how he bothers them.
Yeah.
And that makes sense because Milwaukee, St. Louis, you play a lot.
That's a divisional opponent, right?
Yeah. The teams you see him a lot, they really, he gets under their skin, and that's good.
Okay, I get that, but I would contend, and look, the Cardinals sucked last year, so it wasn't like I was devouring every game. But I would contend that it's a lot more this year. I think that he's up to a lot more this year. And I like it too. I liked Contreras. I like the signing. I don't like him being your best hitter.
Yeah, but he's an all-star caliber player this year.
Yeah. I mean,
well, your two all-stars are going to be the old Cardinals, so thanks for that.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, listen, you got a good friend in Chaim Bloom. But the thing is that I do think that there's got to be something about, because the Cardinals were bad last year too, but this is like an unmitigated disaster. I have a feeling this is bothering him more even.
I think so too. Listen. William Abreu's had a real rough week, and especially over the weekend with the Yankee games, you saw the emotion. These guys feel helpless with what's going on in Venezuela right now. When players are out in front of the gate, collecting money, trying to show their support, you don't see that from major league players often. So you can't imagine what these guys are going through while that's happening back home. And where Contreras is an emotional guy to begin with. When they won the World Baseball Classic, he came in at the end, right? He was like a defensive replacement at first base. And he told me between pitches in the ninth inning, he had to step away to wipe tears out of his eyes before the game was over. This is a guy who, and again, baseball, you're always told the opposite, right? Don't get too high. Don't get too low. Don't play with emotion. You got to be a robot to get through 162. Well, Contreras proves you don't, which I love. Right, he goes out there, he's a fiery guy, and he plays with that. And again, with a young team around him, and to your point, I wish he wasn't your best hitter. This would be, if you had one more guy in front of him in the lineup, so you had a 1-2 combo, you feel a lot better about that. But I love what he brings. He's a great fit for this team. When you start talking about, are you going to trade off all the pieces, I hope he's not one of them, because I think you keep him around.
One quick question about the pitching, and Garrett Crochet may not pitch again this season. He's got the shoulder inflammation, whatever, because of overuse last year. I watched Peyton Tolley get drilled yesterday. He's approaching his career high in innings. Connolly Early is now on the injured list. I think he's 5 or 6 innings away from his career high. Red Sox got to start sitting some of these guys down.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot at the beginning of the year. You know, it was why Peyton Tolley wasn't on the roster when the year started, but they called him up quickly when Crochet got hurt and they had some troubles. The hope really was that Sandoval and Cutter Crawford, the forgotten guy, would be a part of this. Obviously, Bayo was expected to be a part of this the whole year. You've leaned way too heavily on those two guys. And you know, they're saying they dodged a bullet on Connolly Early, but as a guy who's waiting for Roman Anthony to swing a bat, I'm not buying any of the early reports on these injuries.
Yeah.
So we'll wait on that. But totally yesterday, the fastball velo went way down. Now, he was sick the start before, if you remember, against the Yankees. He talked about being really sick afterwards. So I'll give him a mulligan on this one and hope maybe it was more about that than the innings total. But you can't keep throwing him out there every fifth day for another 3.5, 4 months. I don't think. There's, like you said, there's going to need to be a break. Now, Sandoval supposed to throw 70 pitches here this week, and he's a really good pitcher a couple years ago. Hasn't thrown in 2 years. But the timing for him to come back should be good. Bayo was okay last night. Still not great in his start with Worcester. So I think unless Sandoval has an issue this weekend, you got a day off today, you got a day off next Monday. You don't really need 5 pitchers till late next week, and then it's the All-Star break. So you need one start out of a guy. Probably be Sandoval, and what you'd like to do is use it to give Tolley all kinds of rest. But because of Early now, you probably need to keep him in there through the All-Star break and then figure it out.
All right. Well, Tom Karen, we will let you off the hook because we have Jaylen Brown to discuss. But thank you for a nice break with the World Cup.
Yeah, get back to it now. I appreciate. I totally expected to get the call this morning. Yeah, we'll talk to you next week, guys. We're good.
No, you're too good a guest. I'm not kidding you. You're too good a guest.
I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, Tom. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
All right. Tom Karen from Nesson. We'll be right back. Here are the headlines.
Sports.
we all just take acid? Take acid? It's unbelievable.
Toucher and Hart. What's he talking about?
Like you, Fred, I'm not worried.
The Sports Hub.
With the third pick in the 2016 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Jaylen Brown from the University of California, Berkeley.
I'm happy to be a part of the family. I know Boston has a lot of history, a lot of tradition, and I want to add to that. I know it's a playoff team, so I love playoff basketball, and I can't wait to win. Boston's a great city, full of culture, full of life, education, things that mean a lot to me. So I'm super excited. I cannot wait to get there and can't wait to get everything started. Can't wait for the season to start, and I'm happy to be a part of the family.
Jaylen Brown, the inbound to Al Horford, now in the hands of Isaiah. He's going to drive on Jeremy Lin, ducks the shoulder, stumbles, finds Jaylen Brown, knifes through two men, and scores off the glass. Welcome to the NBA, Jaylen Brown.
That's what you want as a rookie. You want your first shot to be a layup opportunity.
Larkin going slowly with the right-hand dribble. Now attacks Rubio. Over the shoulder pass. Ojale swings out to Jaylen Brown. Three in the air for the game. Got it! He got it! Jaylen Brown goes crashing to the ground as the Celtics get a three with 1/10 of a second remaining.
This puppy's over.
Trying to get it to Jaylen.
They're making sure he doesn't get this basketball.
Trying to keep it away. Now Jaylen, left-hand dribble drive, pulls up at the dotted line, floats it up. It rattles home, and Jaylen Brown has his 50-point game against Kawhi and the Clippers in L.A. 133-109.
I just felt like just for everybody, things was just about to shift. Certain times of the year, it actually was a retrograde, which means like planets were spinning in the opposite direction. I know at that moment, the energy was about to change, so I tweeted it out, and we went on a win streak.
Do the Pacers try and foul off the inbound? Holiday's got it. No timeouts. He's got to get it in. Throws to the corner. Jaylen forces it up over C. He tied it. He did it. Jaylen Brown from the corner with 5.6 to go. Jaylen Brown, 13 points in the quarter. Switches to the left hand. Jaylen drives right down the middle. Flies over Green. Throws it down with the right hand and puts a signature punctuation mark on a dominant third quarter.
The 2024 Bill Russell Finals MVP goes to Jaylen Brown.
It was a full team effort, and I shared this with my brothers and my partner in crime, Jason Tatum. He was with me the whole way, so we shared it together.
There you go, a encapsulation of Jaylen Brown's career here before he was traded for a terrible contract and crap. And no other team in basketball was willing to do that deal but Philadelphia. How do I know? Because I can't imagine that Boston wanted to deal with Philadelphia. Which makes me think that every Western Conference team, every team located in the Central Time Zone, any team south of the Mason-Dixon line, like anything was preferable to Philadelphia or New York.
Any geographical line of demarcation you want. That would have been better than trading him to, but one of a couple of teams, and the Sixers are one of them. And don't trade him to the Sixers.
And I just refuse to believe that Stevens is like just had a head injury and now all of a sudden just, I can't. And I could be wrong about this because what do I know? But I can't. This doesn't even make sense as a private equity financial move because of the timing, right? Like they if it's all bottom line money, they didn't have to do this until February. So until the trade deadline, that's when all that apron stuff kicks in. So they didn't have to do it now. So the timing doesn't make sense to me, private equity. That could be explained to me. Brad Stevens is not a dumb guy and is a very savvy basketball guy. There's no way he wanted to do this trade unless it was absolutely something he felt needed to be done now. And 3, I know Philadelphia wasn't the team that they wanted to deal with. This opportunity had to be open to 28 other teams, 27 other teams before it would go to Philadelphia.
I keep coming back to Portland, who didn't want to include any of their good young players in the deal. I mean,
They didn't have a 36-year-old making $100 million that they could have.
No, actually, it's interesting. They do. His name is Drew Holiday, who's 36 years old, and he's making $32.4 million this year. It wouldn't have been that hard to match things up.
Maybe they didn't feel like they wanted to get rid of Holiday for Brown, and I'm not kidding. Well, how many years are left on Holiday's deal?
He has this. No, it's the same as Paul George. He's got 1 year plus an option.
Yeah, a player option?
I believe so. I'm taking a look. Yes, player option.
Okay.
34.8 this year, 37.2 player option next season.
So why did Portland not go, here's Holiday and 2 first-round picks? They're better first-round picks than the 76ers picks. I don't know. Why would Portland go, we don't want to do that? You don't think they would have rather dealt them to Portland? That's interesting.
Yes.
Thank you for that information, John. Then fine. Here's Holiday.
Yeah, you would have to match it somehow, but I mean that's easy enough
But you
to
could
do
throw
it.
$10 million. Everyone's making $10 million bucks now. You throw in $10 million. I'm interested to know. I have not gotten an answer, and I don't blame anyone, but like Windhorst, local guys, no one knows why the Celtics needed to do it now and why no one else besides Philadelphia was willing to do this.
Portland didn't fire their president of basketball operations a few weeks ago, who was also the face of the NBA analytics movement, Daryl Morey. So they didn't have the benefit of having the safety net gone as Philadelphia did. Philadelphia just got rid of this guy. Once again, the face of the analytics movement. It's the only possible explanation, Fred, that I can come up with, short of some massive news-breaking story about Jaylen Brown and what he's like and what he was like behind the scenes, analytics is the only way to explain it. And the other teams in the league didn't want to deal with Jaylen Brown. They didn't want to have to deal with the looming extension and everything else because analytically they don't like his game.
That's the only thing that makes any sense.
Every other team in the league has an analytics guy in place that put the kibosh on it, and he said, nope, don't do this deal.
I'm looking at
But
this.
why now, though? Like if you were, because I guess maybe analytically the Celtics felt it was so terrible to have him on the team that they needed to just dump him for anything. I guess.
I'm looking at this.
That's the only thing that anyone said that even has a hint of logic to it, because
They took advantage of the Sixers and their personnel department right now, which is without a mastermind analytical guy.
Jaylen Brown for Drew Holiday and Shaden Sharp gets it done. That would have matched it perfectly. Remember, Sharp was one of the guys that Portland was willing to give up, according to everything we heard. And even if you didn't get a lot of draft capital, say a first round, 1 first and a pick swap, whatever, that deal is far more better than what you got.
So that leads me to, and there's no way Stevens doesn't know that, and you just figured it out right now. So that means that, to me, Portland didn't want to do it.
It must be.
Yeah.
It must be.
So, I mean,
Drew Holiday has 1 year. He's 36, 1 year left plus a player option. Now, it's for less money than Paul George. You would have had to match things, so you had to include somebody else. Portland wouldn't have done that. Wow. Shaden Sharp and Drew Holiday, who I think they were trying to get rid of for Jaylen Brown, they wouldn't have done that?
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
I wonder how Jaylen Brown's feeling today. It's not so great. It's got to be a bit of a blow to the ego.
We mentioned something earlier about the Celtics and have they ever done anything like this before? Dan Shaughnessy said they'd never do this thing.
This is a blockbuster of the highest proportion. The Celtics have actually never made a trade like this to trade a star in his prime. Maybe a little past the prime, but he's right there. They never do this. 80 years in the franchise. So this is seismic. It's not good. Fans are going to hate this thing. I'm convinced there must be another shoe to drop, because it makes no sense to me that they would be giving up on next year and the year after and thinking about the future when you got a team that, kind of ready-made to win. A lot of people thought they were favorites going into the playoffs this year. It didn't work out, but it's stunning to me that breaking up these two at this moment and taking 40 cents on the dollar for Jaylen Brown, I don't get it.
He's right. He's absolutely right.
Yeah, there's not an explanation. Yeah, the Celtics didn't just lose their minds. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Celtics traded Jaylen Brown to Philadelphia last night. Brown, the 2024 NBA Finals MVP, sent to Philadelphia in exchange for 36-year-old Paul George, 2 first-round draft picks, and 2 second-round picks. Also, the Celtics had signed Knicks free agent big man Mitchell Robinson to a 3-year, $47.4 million contract, and they have signed free agent guard Mike Conley to a 1-year deal. Celtics free agent Nikola Vucevic has re-signed with Orlando. In NHL news, Bruins made a pair of trades with the New York Rangers yesterday. First, they sent backup goaltender Jonas Korpisalo for a 4th-round draft pick and a minor league forward, and they shipped out a 2nd-round pick and a conditional 3rd-rounder for defenseman Will Borgen. The team has also signed Connor Clifton to a 2-year contract and brought back Jordan Harris on a 1-year deal. Bruins free agent winger Victor Arvidsson has signed a 2-year contract with Detroit. At the World Cup, the U.S. scored their 2nd-ever knockout round win, 2-0 over Bosnia-Herzegovina last night. Fuller and Balogun and Malik Tillman both had goals. Balogun also handed a red card in the second half, and because of that, he won't be able to play in their next game in the round of 16, which is Monday night in Seattle against Belgium. They rallied for a 3-2 overtime win over Senegal yesterday, and England advanced with a 2-1 win over DR Congo, and the Red Sox lost to the Washington Nationals yesterday 10-2. They're off tonight. They visit the Los Angeles Angels tomorrow evening. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured, not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Deep 3, violent 2-hand slam. Wow.
98.5 Sports Hub.
I know. No, you don't know. Everyone agrees that I'm the only one who's not wrong.
Right or wrong, they're back. Toucher and Hardy on the Sport.
Explore how this stands up now.
The season that began on opening night in this building against the Sixers. And on that night, whatever anybody says now, whatever they pretend changing history, nobody picked the Celtics ahead of the Sixers at the start of this year. The season began, and everybody called it a gap year at the start, and then I started doing it satirically during the year when the Celtics just kept winning crazy games and putting up a crazy scoring differential, and the Celtics for 82 games played as a top 4 team in the NBA. That was the start, which is why a lot of us were not overly optimistic about what this team could accomplish, and it's funny that it sort of came back that way at the end of the year. I know there's going to be craziness. That's what talk shows do, right, for the next 6 months. There's going to be all of this conversation throughout the emotion of losing this series. That will happen. But at the end of the day, the Celtics still have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. They still have Peyton Pritchard, because the expectations with Tatum returning healthy next year, it's what I kept saying all year, stop getting excited about this team and enjoy the house money year.
No more being smarter than everyone else, Sean. It's over. Completely over it. No more. You were completely wrong, which is fine because everyone was. But no more you got a keen insight and everyone else is really dumb and you're really smart.
Just get Tatum back, and now he's going to be fully healthy, and you just wait for next year. Just watch what this team does with Tatum and Brown and Pritchard.
Yes, and I like how Pritchard was the third one in there.
Well, yeah, Pritchard.
He's the second one now.
Well, Pritchard factors into that analytical article from Haberdashery quite a bit, because it is believed by some analytics people that Derek White and Peyton Pritchard flourished in the offensive attack without Brown dominating the ball, and that Pritchard was being held back by having Jaylen Brown on the court.
They make the comparison of Peyton Pritchard's opening here to Jalen Brunson when he was finally freed of playing on the same team as Luka Doncic. Once he wasn't on the same team as Doncic, he got the ball more and he flourished. Analytics seem to think that Peyton Pritchard will experience a jump as a result of this.
Well, there would be some egg on my face if he turns into the new Jalen Brunson, because I always questioned.
Yeah,
I always just thought because he was a white guy in Boston that everyone was going nuts for him.
You whiffed on Tatum, you whiffed on Jonathan Isaac, and you whiffed on Peyton Pritchard.
Jonathan Isaac got hurt, or else he'd be the best player in the NBA.
Back with Orlando now. after being waived.
Yeah, he waved goodbye and said, "I want to go home."
Yep.
He went to Florida State. He wanted to go back to his home state. But yes, Sean Grandy no longer gets to, in any way, shape, or form, act like he has superior knowledge to anyone, let alone anyone on the radio.
And the clowns on morning shows.
Yeah, well, the clowns on morning shows didn't pontificate all season about how great it was, and then as soon as it ended, shift to how great it was going to be this year. And then Brad Stevens went, "I don't think that's true. So we're going to get rid of Brown." Now, why they did it, I don't know. And no one knows, because we got to find out what went on and why no other teams wanted him. But that will come out. But what I do know is that no more patronizing Sean Grandy. I'll talk to management. They got to put a kibosh on that now.
Okay.
That's going to be my cause de celeb this winter. Jeff, go ahead. Yeah, all right.
Jeff.
Too long. He was on hold for an hour, too. Rick, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, brothers? Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So, my thing is, I've been saying it for days, that if Brown gets traded, Stevens got to go. If he wants, I can give him the number to unemployment so he can file, but he got to go.
I think that's easily Googleable.
Yeah.
You can Googleable. Googleable. That's my new phrase.
Yeah, Googleable.
Yeah, Googleable. You had to be.
Because they're Googleable just sounds like you're putting on airs.
Yeah, it's too many syllables. There's got to be a reason, Rick. I don't believe that Brad Stevens has completely lost his mind. I don't believe private equity came in and said you have to make this deal today. I don't believe any of that. There has to be a reason that is just there's sometimes this is the case. There's stuff going on that, is not public. The Celtics have been good about holding things in. And it's not so much why the Celtics wanted to get rid of him so much is why the 76ers this deal was the deal.
Why they had so much trouble finding a team that wanted to be in the Jaylen Brown business.
Right.
We have a Colin Cowherd reason for it. If you,
I don't care because it doesn't address. And I know what you're going to play, and I know why you want to play it. But the thing about the Colin Cowherd thing is that it doesn't address any of this. Does it address why no teams wanted him?
No, it addresses why the Celtics wanted to get rid of him.
Yeah, but I don't care about that as much as I want to know why Philadelphia in this deal was the deal.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, it doesn't address that.
Okay, if you guys want to play Colin Cowherd, play it. Go ahead.
All right, we'll do. Here we go.
Brad Stevens is getting crushed.
I mean, that's part of my hesitation. Go ahead.
Brad Stevens is getting crushed. They obviously wanted Jaylen Brown out of the building. Jaylen Brown, I had two NBA sources tonight, two people in the league, one an executive, one a scout, say that Jaylen Brown it's a disease. He suddenly thinks he's the smartest guy in every room he's in. I've worked with people in the media. It's really, you get into a really bad space. You make a lot of money. Suddenly you're absolutely sure. You don't want to listen to your bosses. You don't want to listen to consultants. You don't want to listen to teammates. Jalen's kind of, and by the way, this was, one executive told me, this was always a little bit of Jaylen Brown's personality, kind of the smartest guy in the room, and live streaming and throwing it out there. And that's just not a good space. It used to be, nothing good happens after 3 a.m. Nothing good happens when pro athletes live stream. It's just trouble.
Yeah, well, thanks for the insight. It's obviously his live streaming why they got rid of him for Paul George.
I don't think anybody liked it and anybody thought it was a good idea, but he didn't do anything crazy on any of his Twitch streams.
No, the notion I still don't know why we played it. The notion that they traded him because of his live streaming is
John
preposterous.
And I wanted to play it.
Well, now I know that.
I stand with Wallace.
He talked
shows much better now because of it.
He talked to two executives that said Brown thought he was the smartest guy in the room. Well, you could have talked to me, who talked to nobody and never has met Jaylen Brown, and I could have told you.
Again, the reason why I didn't like it hits too close to home.
I know.
The smartest guy in the room
I
thing.
know.
Everything he just said about Jaylen Brown, aside from the streaming, could be applied to Fred Toucher. That's why you didn't like that comment.
Fred's still employed, though. He's still here.
Yeah, we'll see.
Station hasn't gotten rid of him as a result.
John Kincaid's out in Philadelphia. You don't know if I want to take that gig. Get down to my people. Get down to where my in-law lives. My ex-in-law.
Take Wallach with
Bubby.
you. He loves it. He'll drive you down.
I know
there.
exactly how to get there.
Maybe I'd do that as a gift to John, is take him with me to Philadelphia so he could spend more time at his in-laws' house.
Sure.
Be closer to the action. Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, good morning.
So that whole thing with Jaylen Brown and Nike a couple years ago, has he really set himself up just like Kyrie Irving, where nobody really wants to take it on his BS anymore?
Something, yeah, that's as valid as anything else.
It's a similarity there. That's true.
Something is going on where the teams are not willing to take on Jaylen Brown.
Olympic teams, NBA teams.
Right.
No kidding.
Yeah, so maybe it wasn't just the shoe thing that the Olympic team didn't want him.
It's the foreshadowing, the Olympic team.
Right. Because
you would have thought we would have gotten like some kind of hint of that beyond, the streaming. That's really all it is.
Well, I don't know what insiders are like allowed to share, like in how their relationships are with front offices, because they're transactional. Obviously, the front office has to get something out of the insider too. And they did know that the Celtics were actively shipping Brown. So I wonder if they know what's going on and why other teams don't want him, but they're like agreeing not to say it because they didn't want to queer the deal or something like that.
Yeah, and they don't want to blow up their spot or their sources. But the real Celtics fanboy media members, Forsberg, if you're listening, now is the time for you to spill your guts because you'll ingratiate yourself to the team.
Oh, Forsberg had no idea. I mean, Forsberg was in here doing. Bill Simmons had no idea. It's so much for the one meal at Toscano's with a couple glasses of water. They won't let you get the sloppy steaks, but they can't make you not order steak and a water. Again, Bill Simmons with the douchiest tweet I might have ever read. That's probably not true, but this is nothing that this couldn't be worked out over a 3-hour dinner at Toscano's, which apparently is an eatery with 2 locations
without
in the
any
area.
flunkies.
He said
hangers
the word,
on.
He used the term flunkies, and he did say the 2 J's. And in the punctuation is immaculate. You can tell that he takes use of a hyphen.
Did he say Joe Maz?
He said Joe Maz.
Yeah, Joe Maz, the 2 J's, no flunkies.
Yeah, if you're going to call him Joe Maz, maybe know what's going on. Like, if you're so down with Joe Maz,
Just get Joe
maybe
Maz,
know what's
the
happening.
2 J's, B. Steves,
Yeah, the Stevernator. Like if you're on a first name basis with all these guys, maybe know something that's going on. I mean, I don't know anything that's going on, but neither do you. So we're all in the same boat. Maybe Windhorst knows, maybe Shams Charania knows, maybe they know, and that it's not in their interest to divulge what's going on, but something's going on. It's just a lazy thing. Like, Stevens is an idiot and got played, and they overextended themselves with the Giannis thing. All that can be true, but it doesn't explain why they took this deal from this team. Jake, go ahead.
Oh, hey, this is the worst trade in NBA history. I've never seen anything like it. Paul George, his contract is untradeable. Untradeable.
Yes, right.
$50 million a year for a 40-year-old washed-up bum.
Well, he's 30.
Our franchise player, by the way.
You feel like him better than Tatum is what you're saying.
He is better than Tatum.
Okay.
Tatum is coming off a ruptured Achilles tear. He was playing pretty good, but is he going to be able to carry this team by himself?
Is it worse than the Doncic trade to the Lakers?
It is way worse than the Luka Doncic trade.
They got the pick that turned into the number 1 pick in the draft, and they got Cooper Flag.
They got Cooper Flag and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is way better than Paul George.
Anthony Davis is better than Paul George.
What about the Nets trade of all those picks for Pearson Garnett?
This is worse than that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Those 2 picks they got turned into Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Yeah, the Nets are still reeling.
Yeah, that ruined the Nets. Yeah. I wish that guy was the GM of Portland. Then Portland could have been the destination for Jaylen Brown. Maybe Jaylen Brown said he wouldn't go to Portland, so the team panicked and sent him to Philadelphia in the beginning of July. Again, someone's calling me on saying again, but we're talking about the same thing over and over, and I want to the audience that stuck with us all morning. I am repeating myself, but this is for people that haven't tuned in. I forgot what I was going to say. I was going too much into the again. Ron, go ahead.
Hey, what I don't understand about this is how Boston sports in general has just gone from like the pinnacle of success to just being managed by such a lineup of like suck and incompetence. Like Bill Chisholm, John Henry, Bob Kraft. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's just bad decision after bad decision.
The Patriots went to the Super Bowl, and Brad Stevens is not a bad GM. It's a bad trade, but he's not an idiot.
No, they won a championship 2 years ago. I mean, let's calm down with that.
And you use the Patriots, use Breslow.
Yes.
But don't use the Patriots. No. The Patriots were in the Super Bowl last year. What did they do wrong?
They haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah, they didn't do anything wrong.
Fire everybody.
Yeah, Breslow's a terrible GM. That's absolutely true. But we've known that for a long time.
Stevens may be hearing it a bit this morning. Joe Murray tweeting out less than an hour ago that Brad Stevens deleted his Instagram account. Now, I didn't know that Brad Stevens had an Instagram account. But
to talk to the kids.
Yeah,
to reach the youth.
Maybe the DMs were kind of on overload, or the comments under photos having nothing to do with Jaylen Brown being traded to the Sixers got to be a bit much.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
I would also like to. I know what I wanted. I wanted to know. I want to know why, if it's private equity looking to get rid of a contract, why they did it now, because they didn't have to do it till February. That's another thing. So if it's just strictly saving money, there was no incentive to do it right now. It doesn't save them any money doing it right now in terms of the apron and everything like that.
Were you that convinced that his trade value would only go down after this?
They must have been.
I mean,
or they thought he was going to lose his mind and do something. But I don't believe that either. There's no evidence that Jaylen Brown would have blown everything up.
No, Jaylen Brown would want to increase his trade value. He'd want to make teams want to acquire him.
Or if he demanded a trade, I don't know how your return would be any less than this.
Yeah.
What could they have gotten that's less than this? They took on a 36-year-old $100 million contract. What else could they have done? I'm serious. What would have been a worse trade? They received basically nothing. 2 crap first-round picks. Philadelphia's got 2 really good young kids. They're they're always going to be a playoff team. They're not going to fall off with Maxey and Edgecombe. They're not going to fall off and not be a playoff team. You know, people keep throwing Embiid in there. Who cares? Yeah. And that doesn't matter.
Even if Embiid gets hurt, you have Maxey, Edgecombe, and Brown. That's good enough for home court in the first round of the playoffs every year.
Right. So, right. They're not going to be in the play-in. Even if they lost one of those guys, they're not going to be in the play-in. They're going to be a playoff team. So you're not going to be in the lottery, or however the lottery works now. They're bad picks. Brown could have said, I won't play one more minute for the Celtics. And I can't think of a deal that would be worse than this, because even if he wants his way out, at least if you have numerous teams that want him, they have to fight against each other. Now, they might all lowball, but this is a pretty big lowball to a destination where there's no way you wanted to send him. There's a lot that needs to be answered, and it's not up to me to do it. It's up to the people that cover this team to find out what's going on, to really get inside. The people that cover the NBA, I'll give them grace that they don't know now, but this needs to come out. I gotta think Brad Stevens or someone in the front office is dying to say what's going on, because you're just floundering out here right now, getting all these shots, and there's got to be a reason. There has to be something going on, and it might not even be from Brown's end. I don't know. I don't know what it is. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Let's do the email bit.
Okay.
Great. I can't wait for you to do the sponsor because I got an email that is hot off the press. So good. You know the one. You know the
Yes,
one.
I
Wallach.
do. Can I read it, or do you have to?
No, you can read it, but
Okay.
let Fred do the thing.
Go ahead, Fred.
I have a feeling it's not so nice to me.
No.
It's fine to you. It's to another one of us.
Oh, all right. Well, then I will give the sponsor now. I was going to filibuster. The Toucher and Hardy email segment is powered by Jeffrey Glassman. Injury Lawyers. Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers. If you've been hurt in a car or work accident, you got to get Glassman. Don't just send an email. Call all sevens. It's 617-777-7777 or visit gottagetglassman.com.
Go for it, John.
Gentlemen, good stuff on Jaylen Brown, but I have something more pressing. Is John an a-hole? He mansplains to us. He drives with complete disregard to others around him. I think he gets under both of your skins on purpose. Hand rubbing, checking out, ditching Fred at the hotel. You name it, he's done it. Is it either not John Summer, or is he really just purposely prickish?
Hot John Summer.
Hot John Summer. Or is he just purposely prickish? Enjoy the holiday.
I think John's fatal flaw is that he's easy to tease, and he takes it well. No, John's not doing anything wrong. It's just that Hardy and I enjoyed teasing him.
But he might be a prick. The bad driving, the hand rubbing.
Why would the hand rubbing make him a prick?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why?
Does it make him an awesome dude? No.
It's just a tick that we
Quit
all
rubbing
have.
your hands, you prick.
Means he's got a rude tude.
Rolls off the tongue.
Well done.
Chris Mannix, who I think we had on yesterday,
Yes.
had a article or a tweet or something or other.
It's good. It's an SI article, but I don't know how much you want to get into it, Fred.
I don't need to get into it.
Okay,
a ton.
here it's asking all the same questions. Nobody has answers yet, and they're important questions. The one thing that Mannix brings up is that the Twitch streaming did not sit well in the Celtics front office.
Okay.
And that the Celtics saw a team that needed to be broken up. They saw a duo that needed to be split. Even after all the success, 6 conference finals, 2 NBA finals, 1 championship, it had run its course, said a league source familiar with the Celtics thinking JB had to go.
That's fine.
Okay, this addresses one thing. Were there financial reasons? The Celtics slashed payroll like a floundering crypto company last summer, but that was strategic. With Tatum down, Boston had an opportunity to slide under the tax apron, setting itself up for future flexibility. Bill Chisholm and his private equity pals have taken some arrows, but taking on George and absorbing one of the worst contracts in the NBA isn't the act of an owner trying to pinch pennies. Was it one of the reasons? Question mark. More than one? All? Who knows? We do know that the Celtics just got measurably worse. So these are all things that we've said. Yeah, the saving money thing, which was being thrown around as a reason for getting rid of Brown, and made sense. I mean, he makes a lot of money. I can't figure out, unless it's explained to me at all, why taking on $100 million, over $100 million in bad contract is somehow better. And a guy called in and said that if he gets suspended again, that they might be able to. I don't know. It just seemed like a long way to go to save money. There's better ways to save money than taking on Paul George's contract, to take on any contract that expires after this year. And then those contracts you can get rid of too. Like if there's only one, you can get rid of that contract. So the Paul George thing doesn't make any sense to me. And I am not a financial expert. Just ask the ex.
Hey.
I'm writing a sitcom. But, yeah, it doesn't really check out in terms of saving money.
Right. Evan says, why would a young and upcoming, we were talking about Jaylen Brown going to Portland. Why would a young and upcoming team sink their future sending picks and players for JB, who's oldish as far as NBA talent goes. Short of JB sitting out all season, why don't you hold on to him and see what happens? Portland gets better by giving up their young talent. If they do, why would they do that? I don't think they're in win now mode. Honestly, Portland has not been good for a long period of time, and they actually made the playoffs last year. If they got Jaylen Brown, they might be able to make some noise in the West, especially if they only had to give up the deal that I proposed. You give up Drew Holiday and Shaden Sharp for Jaylen Brown, you're just fine. You hang on to Avdia, you hang on to Klingon, and you put Brown in the middle of that. That Western Conference team's a problem. Not San Antonio and Oklahoma City problem, but they're certainly much better. I think Portland would certainly make that
Barry
deal.
Siegel's just can't get enough of texting. But this will change your opinion, John.
Okay.
The Boston gets to choose between the Clippers pick and the Philadelphia pick in 2028, but it's a top 1 protected. So if it's a real deep draft class and the Clippers have a pick in the top 10,
yeah,
it's a top 10 pick.
Well, I haven't scouted high school sophomores, so I don't know how good this draft is.
And it really lines up with the Tatum window, too.
I bet you have, Booger. Coming to high schools all day.
High school juniors, sorry. No, I haven't. Yeah.
And so there you go.
Apparently, Lifshat's called into the Joe show last night.
Oh, thank God.
and the Lifshat's angle is that Missoula was behind the trade. He didn't want to coach Brown anymore. Okay. Lifshat's wasn't exactly sure why, but they are two strong-minded individuals, and that the Celtics essentially chose Missoula over Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I heard that
structure of your like cells.
Yeah, I've heard that for a month too, but it doesn't explain why they sent him to Philadelphia for nothing. Again, none of these address any of the reasons of why. It's why they might want to get rid of Brown, not why they dumped him on July 1st for crap to a division rival that's within a drive of us. A reasonable drive on a non-holiday, if you ask John.
If you took that Philly job and took John with you, John would save 50,000 miles a year on that minivan.
Yeah.
Think about the oil changes you wouldn't have to get.
Yeah, that's a good
point. The tires, everything.
Yeah.
Well, the question is I have to go to Bangor, Maine in August, and the question is, do you fly or drive? If it's a 5.5 hour drive and you can fly there in like 2.5 hours.
Where do you fly out of Logan?
You can fly out of Logan and then you switch planes, but they have a ton of them in LaGuardia. So do you fly or drive?
Drive to Bangor.
Yeah. It'd be too 50-50 much pain in the ass. I mean, you fly to Portland, rent a car, and drive up?
No, you fly to Bangor.
I didn't even know they had an airport there.
Yeah, so no, Portland wouldn't make any sense because that's like 2 hours. But if you fly to Bangor, it's like you're right there in Bangor.
It's an airstrip.
Yeah, but then you get the excitement of landing in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, like back in the day when the Key West airport used to be very small, didn't take jumbo jets. Just took the.
It just reeks of a news story that comes out the next day. Small plane crash, en route to Bangor, Maine. That sounds like something that would happen.
But it would be around here even bigger than Ricky Valens passing away in a plane crash.
Richie.
No, Ricky. It's happened afterwards. It was just an odd twist of fate that it was the same name.
At our contest I entered, I won $500 in prizes. That's great, mijo, with the baby coming in our lessons. What are you looking at, intern? Turn your face back toward the computer and do something. Don't look at me.
He's just wondering what movie you're referencing.
We have 3 Ryans back here today.
That's a good point.
Yeah, the Ryan angle.
Adam had a big suggestion that we do a bit called the Ryangle.
Uh-huh. It's too bad we don't have 12 here anymore.
Instead of triangle.
I know.
Ryan, go ahead.
Oh, good. A fourth Ryan.
Hey, guys. Good morning. What the hell's going on with the Celtics?
Well,
so let me just paint you a picture.
Why?
For the
What
last
happened?
40 yeah, right. The last 40 years, guys, we've only had 3 Finals MVP. Larry Bird, who's a god in Boston. Paul Pierce, whose numbers retired. They did trade him at the age of 35, and they got more for him than they got for Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown, who goes to the division rival, who's likely going to be contending for a title. And if I swear to God, if they win a title in Philadelphia, Brad Stevens got to go. He's got to get run out of town.
Yeah, but I don't think Brad Stevens did this because he did,
lost his mind.
Yeah, no, he was pushed into doing this somehow, some way.
I mean, the fan base and people just in general have to realize that Brad Stevens didn't do this in a bubble, that he didn't go like, oh, Philadelphia, give us your worst contract and we'll give you our second best player. No, I don't believe that happened.
One of the better GMs, if not the best GM in the National Basketball Association, did this. This wasn't his doing.
I don't like that he said National Basketball Association instead of NBA. Why did he do that? That was a pricky thing, too.
Lend gravitas to the stadium.
Yeah. Just,
I suppose. All right.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. We're going to pivot at the end of the show because we're not here tomorrow. We're all taking the company holiday off, which is July 2nd. It's a little confusing because it's 2 days before the 4th of July. I got into it with my son because I was arguing with him yesterday that it wasn't the 1st, that it was the 2nd. And then it was egg on my face. But I admitted my wrongs and made amends to him. I apologize, son. I should listen to you more.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It wasn't a conversation. I've had similar conversations with my son. He wasn't asking what date is the 4th of July, because my son did ask me within the last couple of years, in what month does March Madness happen?
Huh.
He played it off as he was confused because the actual final took place in April, but
yeah,
there was.
But that still wouldn't eliminate March as a candidate for when the tournament took place.
Just can't sidestep that
You
one.
talk to
Because
him.
April's follows March.
You talk to Calvin. I'll talk to Milo.
What's funny about it?
We'll see who has an aneurysm first.
And none of these things is a lack of intelligence. It's just a lack of even the most basic concentration. It's just I would rather ask than even think for one moment.
Oh my God, that's it.
Oh
That's
yeah,
it.
no. The kids aren't stupid. No, it's just that why think?
Right.
Like you're the internet right now. Why would I think about it when I could just ask someone?
Right.
What it just any thought, any question just comes out of the mouth. Like, Dad, it's pouring rain. What should I do? I pull over or get off at the next exit? No. Well, now what? I don't know.
You should have hung up. Okay, click.
Well, I mean, I started laughing. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to say, man. Those are my 2 suggestions, and I don't got
You're
anything
95 miles from me. There's not much I can do
Why
for
don't you Google it?
Yeah.
While you're driving. All right, we'll be back. Here are the headlines.
Hey, guys, good morning. What the hell's going on with the Celtics?
Sports Hub. Toucher and Hardy.
No.
On the Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Well, I feel a little bad for all three of us because Zolak is here and he's brought in a lot of things that say the United States of America on them.
Oh, yeah.
In honor of the 4th of July. And we didn't even think of that.
He's got flags, sunflower seeds, beef jerky.
And a thing that says USA.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wood USA with stars coming out of it.
I asked him if he loved America, and he couldn't even form a word. He just said, yeah. Yeah. Which is yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a duh.
Yeah. Fred, we have been all Jaylen Brown wall to wall this morning, but there is, as Scott Zolak has rightly pointed out, a big celebration happening on Saturday, America's 250th birthday, 4th of July. So we do have to pay tribute in a way that we have done before, but we can only do this once a year.
Is it a name of a firework or a menu item from Kowloon?
It's a very simple game. Name of a firework or menu item from Kowloon.
Okay.
I'm going to give you just a layup here to get things started here. Sweet and sour pork.
Well, that's no firework. Because you don't have to dig no swine.
Incorrect. Sweet and sour pork is a high-volume 9-shot aerial cake manufactured by Brothers Pyrotechnics. Creates massive, colorful breaks alternating between vibrant pink-red stars and bright neon green palms.
This game's going to be hard, Fred.
It's going to be very, very
really difficult.
How about this? B-52, firework or menu item from Kowloon.
I'm going Kowloon on this one.
Fred?
I think I know that it's a firework. I think I know that B-52 is a firework.
Okay.
John Wallach. B-52, Andy Wong, what is it?
B-52 is yellowtail, tempura, crab stick, tobacco, avocado, scallion, and spicy mayo.
Yeah, but that's like right out of Japan. That's like how they make it at like the finest sushi restaurants.
Right.
How about this? Fancy Dragon, firework or menu item from Kowloon?
Well, I don't think that Kowloon would describe something as fancy, like some kind of fancy boy.
John?
Dapper dandy.
I'm going to go. I say once again, this is a menu item at the Kowloon.
Fancy Dragon is shrimp tempura, cucumber, topped with spicy tuna, scallion, tobacco, tempura flakes, and unagi sauce.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, Fred.
There's a lot of scallion going around that
That's
place.
true.
The fortune cookie.
Firework. It wouldn't be on the menu.
Yeah. That's just something you get. It's not worth it.
Fortune cookie cake by Fireworks Over America fires a sequence of 19 gold crackling tails that burst high into the sky.
Yeah, when we used to be able to go to Tennessee for the 4th of July before baseball, there was, you could buy all the fireworks you wanted, and they all had different stickers that were impossible to differentiate what was 3 for 1, what was for 2 for 1, or why any of this was happening.
Right, just fill up that cart and then you just pay what they tell you to pay.
Yes, exactly.
Pig Pow. Firework or menu item.
Say that again?
Well, he's saying it deliberately fast. It's Pig Pow.
Pow.
It's Pigpow.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a firework.
Going Kowloon. Oh!
It is Kowloon.
Nice.
John Wallach, you are correct. Pig Pow.
Our Thai Pig Pow sauce comes with squid, sautéed with baby corn, mushrooms, peas, onions, and scallions in a tasty pig Pow sauce.
No one's ever ordered it. Strangely enough.
We got to figure out a way to get rid of all this.
All this
they have
squid.
a surplus of squid and scallions.
Like the Kowloon, like something on Route 1 doesn't strike me as a place where a lot of squid is being eaten.
Okay, only 11 more. Dragon egg.
Firework.
Firework.
Crackling dragon eggs are multi-shot aerial cakes. Now, this effect involves hundreds of tiny pellets splitting apart and exploding into a delayed, violent cloud of crackles.
With scallion.
That's right.
All right, one more.
Yeah.
All right.
Triple delight.
Oh, that's
Kowloon.
That's Kowloon.
That's Kowloon.
A triple delight is chicken, beef, and shrimp stir-fried with broccoli, water chestnuts, mushrooms, and bok choy.
All right, there you go.
no
All right,
scallion.
I suggest everyone spend the 4th of July at the Loon. Maybe you'll run into some AEW wrestler who like to frequent the Loon.
Still, to this day, they're still making the pilgrimage up there whenever they're in town.
It's the most It's, in my opinion, the most Boston thing. The thing that's the most unique to Boston is that there's a random giant Chinese restaurant that is also like a iconic wrestling place. You won't find that in any other city in the world.
I don't think you've heard the latest.
What's the latest?
They've cut back. No tickets for the big guy. So no ticket exchange for Jimmy and Andy Wong. So now all of a sudden, we're going to comp these guys all these dinners, and they don't take care of us. That happened this year.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean the ticket exchange?
So like they give them boxes, they give them tickets, front row seats. Like you see Jimmy up
Yeah.
front. Like,
Oh, wrestling.
So
Okay.
I think wrestling, not the wrestler's problem, but the federation pulled back on tickets.
Oh.
So maybe we
don't
pull
like
back
that.
on Saga Swings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tit for tat.
That's interesting.
You guys got 2 more hours, man. Dismissed at noon today.
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're
I got a show to do.
No, you get to leave at 12:30.
I don't get to leave at 12.
Oh.
Not before our show. I only work 4 hours a day. I was told.
Wait, how is a half hour? How is a half day get out at noon? I mean, I understand getting out at noon, but that doesn't make it a half day.
Well, it's a half day for everybody
9
else
to
here.
noon is, in my math, 3 hours. Isn't it an 8-hour workday?
What's the odds Callanan's in today?
0.
How about Dennis?
Dennis is
I love
here.
Dennis.
I've seen
he's
Dennis.
here?
Dennis is here. Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
They're at the Prue, like up in
Jason
working
Myers,
on the
he's,
antenna.
He's a grinder. Paul
All right.
Reed will be here. He'll be here till 5.
Where's George? All right.
He's here. George is here.
Oh, my God.
That'll do it for us. Everyone, enjoy your 4th of July. God bless the USA. Bye.
Enjoy your weekend.
Have a